Hey, what's up, everyone? It's a podcast. I like how right before we started recording, Barbara's like, I can't hear myself. I turn her up, and the first thing you do is scream into the mic.
Yep. Exactly. I had to make sure it was working.
This is...
my phone?
You changed your tone so that people wouldn't complain anymore.
Right away.
Oh, God, it's going again.
What is that?
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I have a new Twitter application that I actually like. It's called Tweetbot. And can I tell you the greatest feature in the world
What is that?
included in Twitter?
Proceed, Tweetbot.
What is the best feature that you would like to see in Twitter that it doesn't currently have?
The ability to ignore people, but you still want them to think you follow them.
You can put people on your follow list, and then you can mute them. So
Does it have that?
It does. It is.
Oh my
it is.
God.
So it's like you get to fulfill the social contract of you follow me, I follow you, but you're like, I'm not listening to you. I don't care about your fish sandwich. Or whatever the hell
I like the name, Tweetbot.
Tweetbot.
It makes me want to talk like this.
Great for people who tweet like every single minute. And then
Yep.
if you unfollow them, they're just like, why would you unfollow
They
me?
notice immediately, don't
You
they?
know, I unfollowed Michael Rage Quit because he auto anytime he likes a video on YouTube, it sends that auto tweet.
Yeah,
I was like,
it does.
disable that, and he wouldn't disable it. So I was like, all right, fuck it.
I unfollowed him, Miles, and Lindsay because they were being fucking annoying one day and just kept having this long conversation. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And that was like 4 months ago. I'm not going back.
Like
they're done.
People use Twitter as like AIM, and it's like no. If you want to have a conversation, get on a chat program, something
There's
like
also
that.
direct messages. that
Yeah.
Jack, somehow you made it sound old. Like you took it to another level somehow. Like that's not what the purpose of Twitter is.
You unfollowed me once.
Did I for what?
I was following some celebrity.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
I unfollowed
Oh,
everyone
you
who
were
was
Charlie Sheen?
I only followed him for like 5 minutes.
What a tool.
And then I got.
And then
a
as soon
tweet-
as he was out of the spotlight, you unfollowed him.
No, well, I followed him for like 5 minutes, and I realized it was really stupid. So then I unfollowed him, but Bernie had already unfollowed me at that point, and I was like, "Oh no, wait, I'm just kidding.
I remember
buddy.
that purge.
Come back."
I did. Here's my logic: is that Charlie Sheen was an asshole, and everyone was following him because he was very famous for a short period of time for being an asshole,
Yes.
and being destructive, and like he had left that show and put people's jobs in jeopardy, because he couldn't get himself under control. And I was just like, all those people that are following, it's like, I'm going to draw a line. If I can't draw a line on Twitter, I can't draw a line anywhere, right? So I'm just drawing this line.
You should have changed your avatar.
You're a man, Bernie.
And see, what it is that people were retweeting him. It's like, I don't want to see
you don't want to see
him.
those tweets.
I don't want to see what he has to say. I don't give a fuck about winning. I don't give a fuck about Tiger Blood. I don't give a fuck.
He had people eating out of the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
That was all bullshit.
But that truly lasted for like a month.
and I get it. I would do it. I mean, he's already rich. I mean, might as well do something where everyone's talking about you for 2 weeks straight. I get it, but you don't want to be part of it.
When you work in entertainment long enough, or you try to work in entertainment long enough, you value jobs. Like if somebody has a
Work.
job. And like a guy who had the #1 TV show in America, and he basically put the show threatened for being canceled. I know that's 200 people or whatever that are, they could potentially lose their job.
Yeah.
It's like, look, dude, we got the #1 TV show in America. Just shut
How
up.
much was he getting paid per episode?
I don't know.
It was over
ridiculous.
$7 billion.
It was over $1 million. I know that.
Tiger Blood money.
$7 billion. So,
And the deal is, it's tenuous, right? So then Charlie Sheen goes off and does his thing. But didn't he do some stupid thing on Comedy Central that nobody watched?
He did a roast.
that was a roast, and I think he did some streaming stuff for a while.
That's what it was, too, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ashton Kutcher showed up on 2.5 Men.
Kutcher.
I can't ever say his name right. People always get mad at me. Whatever. Why do we talk about Ashton Kutcher so much?
Why do you make fun of me for not being able to pronounce words?
That's a name versus words.
Words.
Yeah. No, remember Strong Thurman? He got that one right.
Strong. Yeah.
Strong Thurman. It is funny to make fun of Brandon.
So we got, I guess I didn't say, we got Bernie, Jack, Barbara, Brandon, and me, Gus here.
Hello.
Who's Migas?
Me, Gus.
Migas.
Migas.
I'm hungry
Delicious
now.
Migas.
I also want to say one more thing about Twitter while we're talking about it.
Twitter.
Tweetbot.
Tweetbot.
I always, if I know people who are a couple, I just have to unfollow one of them. Because the way the algorithm on Twitter works is that if you follow two people, when they at each other, then you get to see it.
Yeah.
I watching two couples, people in a couple talk to each other, I'm just like, look, I'm picking one of you, and that's it. The other one can go away.
Is there some kind of contest between the two?
Well, it's like when people break up, And
Pick one.
What's your thought process like there? Like, how do you?
No, he's right. I know people like that I follow. It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, you're in love. Very nice.
like, great.
I'm just thinking, how do you choose between them?
So-
Like Sophie's Choice.
You're going to have to do it eventually anyway when they break up.
Okay.
You're going to have to.
Yeah,
They're going to make
that's
you
true.
do it. And you just choose the one you like better, and that's it.
You're just taking part in the pre-breakup.
It'd be great, though, if you could do that with your friends. It's like they know beforehand. It's like a prenuptial friendship thing. It's like, if you guys break up, I'm with her, or I'm with him. That's it.
Just walk away.
Don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up.
Keep it together.
So I brought a lot of you guys in here because I wanted to talk about PAX. 'Cause that was
PAX.
just this past weekend. You weren't there, Brandon,
I
but
wasn't.
Get out.
Yeah, Brandon, tell us all about PAX.
you,
How was it?
you worked a lot to facilitate the successful show that we had.
Brandon was
and we
kicked out
appreciate it.
for revealing his boobs.
Yeah.
On this,
Yeah.
being our booth band.
dancing around in cosplay.
So it was a great show, but it was really busy the
Really,
entire
really
time.
busy.
Yeah. I remember
I'm really appreciative of the people who waited in line to come by our booth.
we had 4 enforcers at one point working our booth to try
Yeah.
to maintain the line. Like we were stacked too deep and then had a split and then more of a line. It was nuts.
Do you know we had, Rooster Teeth, we had 16 people at that con.
Jesus.
It was usually
16?
15, but we hired Ray. And he was there. And he was there.
Yeah, congratulations
That's
to
true.
Brandon.
That's crazy. With 16 people there and 4 of us worked the booth the whole time. So I don't know.
I'd go with 3.
3 is the best.
But we were fine. We were fine.
No, we know we did all right.
We sold out of almost everything, like
all
almost
the
instantly.
shirts. Every single shirt we sold
When we
out
were
of.
setting up, Barbara, Carey, and I were there. We were looking at all the shirts. We were like, "God, this is ridiculous! Why do we bring so many shirts?"
I think we had 15 different shirts,
And then when we-
all in like 6 sizes.
When we started the day on Sunday, we didn't have anything. We were like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, we were stupid."
The World Tour shirt did really well, right?
The World Tour shirt, the one you're wearing, you have the gray shirt on right now, the World Tour shirt. And
It's gray.
And that one sold out day one.
Day
that
one.
one sold out day one, and then the black one sold out day 2 by lunch.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that
it's because I wore that one on Friday.
No one thinks this is a light beige.
See, I agree with you. I do not call that gray. Everyone else calls it gray, so I call it gray
Light
to fit in.
beige?
If you
It's
look at
just
a
easier to say
grayscale,
gray.
you can't find this color.
That's not gray.
Like it has color. in
It's
it.
beige.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyways,
What's beige?
His shirt.
it's like light beige.
no, beige has
It's not
yellow
gray.
tint to it.
Yeah, beige is
has
brown and yellow.
This is not gray.
This is not gray.
Would you call that gray?
That's closer to look at the wall. Look
Hey,
at the
everybody calm down. Everybody calm down.
It's like that wall.
Guys, you are stupid. Brandon is beige. The shirt is gray.
The shirt is gray.
This is
That shirt is not gray. Did you take a picture of this?
I did take a picture, and it's gray. It's
Send
fucking
it,
gray.
It's not.
Send that picture to Lindsay and me so
know-
we can put it in the link
Okay,
up.
fine.
Bernie
You've
sent me
seen
this
a gray,
thing.
you've seen grayscales.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you go to any kind of program, go to Photoshop and just move your little thing to the white and black line, this is not part of that spectrum. You're not going to see this color in I Love Lucy.
Listen, we're arguing about something that the audience can't see.
Oh,
we'll
Just
put it up.
Have confidence, audience, that Brandon is dumb.
No, Brandon's right.
Thank you, Gus.
No, he's wrong.
We're gonna make a poll. We're gonna
Something's-
post this picture
Something's wrong with Gus.
and we're gonna make a poll.
Obviously.
Yes.
Bernie sent me this link forever ago, one night, like the middle of the night, it was a color spectrum thing, and you had to line up the color
Oh,
spectrum.
I love that thing.
Like it was like a gradient, and you had to move stuff around.
I
You
got
remember this
100%
thing?
on that.
I got 100% on my first
Yeah.
shot on that thing. too.
There's another similar one that does kerning of fonts,
Oh wow!
and you have to like slide them and try to get them all to be the same.
Yeah, so what you have to do is it gives you a wide assortment of colors, and you just have to arrange them in like a gradient. From does it start with blue and go to red?
Like there was one I think blue to green,
Yeah.
and there's like 3 different ones, and I managed 100% the whole thing. I couldn't believe I did.
I did not.
I did not.
All right, so PAX. So what else happened at PAX? Oh, we had a panel. That
Yeah.
went
We
well.
have a panel.
Nothing
we-
interesting happened on panel.
We
Nope.
debuted. We showed a teaser for Red vs. Blue season 10, and showed a little bit of a work in progress of Red vs. Blue season 10,
Which is about 3.5 minutes, yeah, from a fight scene.
which is the stuff people love to see.
Which is
Yeah.
cool because it also we had an announcement there where we showed in that teaser a guest voice star that we have, and that is Mr. Elijah Wood, who is playing the voice of Sigma.
Would guest star be the proper thing? Like people were asking, he's just a cameo, but he actually plays a character. in
Yeah,
the
he's
show.
a voice.
No. He plays Sigma. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get too much into spoilers in the season, but Sigma being Maine's original AI,
Yes.
the creative one. That's you can if you know the story of Red vs. Blue and the fact that we're in a prequel, you can kind of guess that's a pretty important part.
And Maine becomes Caboose, right?
That is correct.
Like he's the predecessor to Caboose.
Obviously.
Maine transforms into the Warthog. It's a complex.
All right, I want to see that. I want to see someone draw that, please.
Let's
Thank
get
you.
Monty on that.
Yeah.
Elijah's a super nice guy, man.
Well, I'll
Just
tell you
like,
what.
you meet him as soon as you meet him, you're like, this
It's-
guy's authentically nice.
It's Mr. Wood to you.
Also, a very big gamer. Like he goes to events. He goes to E3. He goes to Comic Con. I think he was part of Nerd HQ last year.
Oh yeah,
Comic Con.
Yeah, I know. We bumped into him at E3 back in 2001, walking the floor.
That was crazy because Matt had worked on The Faculty, which was a Robert Rodriguez movie here in Austin that starred Elijah Wood, and so we bumped into him on the floor at E3, and this was when they had filmed the Fellowship of the Ring, but it hadn't come out yet. So it was coming out that Christmas, and this is in May. And so we met him, and I made the point. I said, he's not going to be able to walk the floor at E3 like he's doing now. He's not going to be able to do that next year.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Once the Hobbit movies come out, that's pretty much it. Lord of the Rings.
I've heard of celebrities wearing masks around the floor. I think, didn't Robert Downey Jr. walk the floor one year with an Iron Man mask on? A crappy Iron Man mask?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking a Mission Impossible mask.
That's a little too complicated.
And then I know last year at the Spider-Man panel, Andrew Garfield actually asked the question, and he was wearing a Spider-Man pajama outfit with a Spider-Man crappy mask on. And that's before no one knew he was there, and he pulled the mask off, and it was like, oh, it's Andrew Garfield, who is the next Spider-Man.
Everyone still didn't know who he was.
He's the guy from The Social Network, right?
Yeah, he was the friend who was
Eduardo.
Kid.
Yeah, Eduardo. So anyway, he's the new Spider-Man, and that's pretty cool. That's clever.
Yeah.
But what else happened on the panel at PAX? Anything interesting?
I don't want to get into that.
Don't empower.
issue.
The audience reaction was great. Gavin and I were filming.
Monty punched a lemon at someone.
That's
did.
true.
That was pretty cool.
I didn't see it. I was on the stage. I didn't see it because Monty was to my side. There were people blocking my view. So I saw the guy toss a lemon up to Monty, and I just shoot right back at him. I had no idea what happened. And later I got told that Monty punched it in midair, and it went
life
back.
gives you lemons.
It hit the guy right in the face.
I'm becoming more and more.
Yeah, it hit him right here in the cheek.
Pretty impressive.
It's awesome.
I'm becoming more and more convinced that Monty is a robot. Monty is not human.
I understand this question is going to sound creepy. I'm going to say it anyway. What was Monty wearing?
Monty was wearing his
Nothing
rockstar
at all.
outfit.
Nothing at all.
With the feathers in his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause if you've seen him dress up at official events, you'll understand why I'm asking. It's just incredible.
It's like a show in itself.
He's a human anime character.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He's just missing the big sword.
Did you see what I was wearing? Sombrero and the scarf.
Yeah.
Why didn't you wear the Gus shirt?
I wore that shirt. I'm making sales, baby.
Your shirt.
Yeah.
Bonnie puts us all to shame, dude.
Did you bring
he
the
looked-
Gus
he looked
shirt?
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see him
It was
at?
everywhere.
We had a party Saturday night where Jeff Williams performed live with a freelance orchestra.
Jeff Williams came up to
Yes.
promote the event on the panel. And can I ask you guys a question? Did you understand anything he said, or do I just
If
not?
you ask for Skinner, you're gonna get some fucking Skinner. That was it, right?
Yeah. I heard that part.
Freebird.
And then at the party, I yelled out Freebird and tried to get him to play, but he didn't.
Jeff's a rock star, man.
But Monty came up to that party, and he honestly looked like an anime character. And he was dancing, and it was amazing.
He does I had never seen Dance Dance Revolution moves done on an actual dance floor, but he totally pulls that off,
Yeah.
man. It's impressive.
Did you see his videos a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
I think Dave and Buster's and just
It brought back nightmares because we used to have a dance machine at I worked in an arcade when I was younger, and there would be people lined up at the gate when we would open, and as it was going up, they would slide under and immediately start putting money into that machine and be there all day until we had to kick them out at night.
Did you work at the University of Texas arcades that got shut down?
No,
for pizza places.
No, I worked at the one in Lakeland Mall way up in North Austin. That was actually my very first job ever. I was 16 years old working in an arcade, I was living the dream.
Worked in the game industry even back then.
Yeah.
When I was 15 or 16, I got kicked out of an Aladdin's castle for cursing too much. I think I was playing Road Rash, and I was just cursing up a storm, and I got asked to leave.
Nice. No, this was the arcade that I would go so much.
Sir, you have to leave the arcade now.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I went so much they finally just asked me, do you want a job here? Because I turned 16, so yeah.
Did you guys know Faith was one of the people that came to PAX with us, and she had a panel in, I want to say it was the Cat Theater, it's sort of called, just Cat. That's probably
Yeah, all the theaters are named after animals and stuff.
But Cat.
I was in
But the others are like
Arachnid.
Manticore,
It's those
Really,
Arachnid.
really cool.
I know
I
that
was
one.
in the Arachnid theater for my
and
day.
Cat Theater. I think that's what it was. I don't know. But right next to it, they had a full-fledged classic arcade.
Oh yeah, I checked it out.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That thing was badass, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know who curated the games that were in that arcade, but they had the exact same taste that I do.
Yeah,
there were
that
games
was-
I hadn't seen in years.
Yeah, there's some rare ones in there. Did you see the photo of the Ghostbusters playing the Ghostbusters game?
I did, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I did.
I was at one point I was walking the floor and I saw all those Ghostbusters standing around. They were in a pretty impressive outfit, and one of them goes, "Holy shit!" and he points behind me, and I turn and I look, and it was this couple dressed up as Captain Yesterday and Clobberella from Futurama.
Nice.
And they were impressed at the other cosplay, and so they met up and started talking costumes and stuff.
Man, there was a cosplay I was very impressed by. I don't know about you guys.
What was it?
Let me
The
guess.
Lollipop
Yeah,
Chainsaw cosplay.
Oh, you're talking about, she got booted.
No, she didn't get booted. So first day, so it's Jessica Negri, who we love, and I think she's a fan actually. But anyway, we love Jessica Negri.
She got booted.
No,
No,
she just has to change.
She has to change. So
Yeah,
the
she
first day,
has to
Don't go changing. Wait, was she asked to change on the floor?
I think someone gave her a sweatshirt to put on.
yeah. So the first day, she had like this bikini top on. It was like a cheerleader outfit. It was like a bikini
From now on,
top
that
looking
person
thing,
will be
and-
known as the biggest loser to ever exist.
But then, like the
Excuse
second
me,
day,
man.
she had like this alternate costume on. Which holy crap! Did you see
it
that
had,
one?
It had a neckline that went down to her crotch.
Yeah.
So
broke
Jessica
Bernie.
Negri is a very famous cosplayer.
Yes.
She's probably most famous, I think, for wearing her sexy Pikachu outfit.
That was her initial one, her first one. That's
Yeah, if
kinda
you do a
watch.
Google image search for Comic-Con, it's like image number 2 that pops
Yeah.
up.
Having flashbacks to last week's podcast when you were talking about sexy costumes, like sexy Mickey Mouse.
Well, it was like 2 weeks ago.
sexy
Oh,
Pikachu.
geez.
I saw Sexy Nemo.
Jeez.
sexy.
But she came to our booth a couple times at Comic Con as well
How come she can't crash our panels? Like, what's up with that?
in her underwear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's also now been doing cosplay long enough. I'm going to try to say this in the best way possible. She's been doing cosplay long enough to where now it's appropriate for her to be doing it. Like
Yeah.
maybe when we first met her, it was not. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed inappropriate. But now she's been doing it for
That's
long
what she's
enough.
known for.
She's
a famous cosplayer.
Okay, so here we go. So here we come to an issue with PAX that's interesting because PAX has a philosophical approach to booth babes, with saying no booth babes.
Yeah.
Is Jessica Negri a booth babe?
That it's a really gray area.
I think we were talking about this.
Yeah, we talked about
there.
this off, while we were there. I think technically no, but in this case, yes, since she was paid by the company to be there.
But it's a little different though because
She's
that's
just
what
that character who they're displaying and they're
If
advertising
she,
for the
if
game.
she had shown up on her own and was walking the floor like that, she would not be a booth babe. But if the company's paying her to stay at their booth,
Yeah.
it's a little
It
different.
seems like the textbook definition if you were to define booth babe.
But no,
like
but
paying a girl
she
to
is,
look hot.
She is a fan of games and of the costuming.
But she's also famous for being a cosplayer.
Right.
So it's not
Yeah.
like she's an anonymous model that doesn't understand what she's doing and just gets thrown into like
Right.
a Miranda costume or something.
Right.
But
You know?
That's why it's really a gray area.
in those
It's more like a
scenarios,
beige
though,
area.
no one like. I don't think they go up to these.
Keep going, Brandon. Keep going.
I don't think they go. They don't go up to these other booth babes. They don't go up to these other booth babes and ask them about their video game knowledge. Like for all we know, these girls that they hired, they could be in the know. The
Yeah,
point
but-
is that's never a question that gets asked.
It's true.
Well, so what is a booth babe? Booth babe is a hot girl that's in a skimpy costume that is disingenuous and doesn't even know what she's doing there and doesn't know anything about the game.
Right,
Right?
it's just another gig where she's paid to look hot.
right.
But that's not always true. I mean, like there's some, quote unquote booth babes that know their shit. They know
Yeah.
their gaming stuff.
But do you ask those other girls before you kick them out? Like, is there a questionnaire? There's
I think
not.
it's just using sex to sell. I think
Yeah.
that's the line. Is like
Yeah.
the objectification of women.
But it's also like, what type of clothing constitutes a booth babe? Like, if there's a girl in a jeans and a t-shirt working at a booth,
well, clearly sweatshirts.
is,
you know it
is
when
she
you
a booth
see
babe?
it,
Or is it like if
No, there's
there's
gray
gray
areas.
My argument, though, is that this is who Jessica Negri is. So if
Yeah.
you're going to hire her to be
Like a spokesperson.
a spokesperson, yeah, if she's going to be there, that's what she's known for. It's who she is.
No,
It seems like
this is like the most complicated, like intersection of all of these questions.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it's a difficult.
So you're saying it's just
difficult
like
question.
a company hiring a marketing, like a normal marketing person.
if we hired who's the super hot chick from Modern Family.
Sophia
Vergara.
Vergara.
So let's say she's a voice actress in our thing, and she shows up at our booth, right? This is great. Like where this at?
Go on.
get going.
And she wears a low cut top,
Go
which is
on.
kind of like what she's known for. I mean, she's very hot and very sexy person. Is she not allowed to be there? I mean, it's like, or if Angelina Jolie is hired by someone to do a voice, she plays Lara Croft, right, in an actual Tomb Raider game, and she shows up and she's wearing a sexy outfit.
But they're talent. They're part of the cast.
But
she's-
Jessica Negri is kind of part of the cast. She's the face of the girl in Lollipop Chainsaw.
No, she is not. They didn't model it after her. If they modeled it after her, then I'd
And then
say
they,
yes.
But then they
But
chose
it's independent.
the spokesperson.
They didn't model Lara Croft after Angelina Jolie.
Right, but they chose her to play her in the movie,
Okay.
which is like the public
Well,
representation.
they're choosing
That's-
Jessica to play Lollipop Chainsaw at the con.
At the con.
The human version.
at the con, not widespread.
Right.
So does that mean that?
No, it is widespread. She's the official face of Lollipop
At
Chainsaw.
that event.
So does that mean you
I think
can
it's
have
all
a
events.
booth babe that looks like a character in your game? So any company can hire a hot model and dress them up like a character in their game, and that's okay. Is that what we're saying?
Here's another example. The woman who she cosplays Sumara from Mass Effect 2 because she was the face for
right.
Sumara, the Justicar, right? Samara?
Samara.
Samara.
The blue girl, right?
Yeah. Sorry. She was there. I saw her there, and she's walking around. Now, granted, she's not hired, but she is hired by Mass Effect. She was hired at one point by BioWare EA to play this part, and so then she goes and makes appearances on her own in full costume, which is kind of a racy costume, you know? So I don't know. It is a gray area. It's a weird gray area.
So like when Joel walks around wearing a Spartan outfit at cons.
Super hot.
Here's the line. I understand the philosophy of it. Here's the thing I think that should be the line, is that you have to have an equal number of each gender representing your game. So if you're going to have the hot booth babe model, you got to hire a dude. You got to even it up. That's what I say.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about PAX and our neighbors, Meg 64.
Nah, screw
Who
them.
are our neighbors on the other side? Plantronics?
It was
No, Plantronics was on the other side of them.
It was a college.
No, that was Sennheiser.
Oh, it's Sennheiser, yes.
It was a college.
It was a
next
college.
station,
Yeah, typically at PAX, we're either next to or across from a college or an art college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then next to Mega 64.
Mega
And next to
At
Mega
every
64
PAX.
as well.
It was awesome. I mean, they're the best booth mates to
Dude,
ever.
okay, Gus, go over what happened when Mega 64 walked in the first day after we had our kick-ass booth set up.
So Jessica Nigri, one time when I was standing in the booth, she had to go make an appearance. So she had her lollipop chainsaw outfit on. They said, well, you have to put on your walking outfit to walk through the con, which apparently was a full-length, full-body latex jumpsuit.
The pink one?
Wow.
Yeah, the pink. You know.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's the
started
ultimate
the
costume
trouble.
one.
Oh, wowzers. Okay.
Now she walked by at one point and like I saw her and I kind of waved to her. She kind of nodded and grinned. I'm sure she just thought I was some douchebag or whatever.
She had to have a
So she
wrangler.
was right. She's got a good, a good sense for
spot
for-
on.
She had to have a wrangler, right?
What's that?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Anyway,
she had like a pack of dudes with her the whole time.
Anyway,
Of
Jessica, if you're
No, I
listening
meant
to
a
this-
costume wrangler.
Firefall had two booth babes, in my opinion, at their booth.
Really?
But they had the big buff dude in the armor,
And then the skimpy girl.
and the skinny girl with the one leg that went all the way up to her tush.
Oh, she was at the Firefall. I saw her. I didn't realize she was. I saw her.
And all the way up to it.
I saw her shopping at the Mega 64 booth, and I was like, "What? You don't want to buy any of our stuff?"
It did not seem distasteful to me.
What was that? Was that dude, the big dude at the Firefall booth? Was he a wrestler?
I went out and found out who he was.
Who is he?
He is Hawk from American Gladiators.
That's who he was.
They
I
should
knew,
have
I
hired
knew I
Butterbean.
recognized that dude from somewhere.
And he's a super buff dude.
Yeah.
Did he have his shirt off? I don't remember.
No, well, he had
No.
I'm sure he had like his shoulders exposed.
Yeah,
like that. He had the big pack on. And
Yeah,
everything.
and the big guns.
But
blazing.
the Firefall outfit's like similar to Gears of War. If you know what the Gears of War suits look like, kind of like that.
But that's
Very ineffective armor.
did Firefall seem distasteful to you? That their display of
No,
models?
not at all.
No.
Not at all.
It was funny. On Sunday, I came in and like they had the two of them out there again, and they had Easter bunny like ears on. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Little rabbit ears.
Before the show opened on Sunday, someone had gone around and hidden Easter eggs in all of the different exhibitors' booths.
Oh,
I saw him doing it. He couldn't do it at ours because I beat him there. Because I was there like at 7:30 in the morning, and I saw him, running around all giddy, hiding eggs everywhere.
Do you want to talk about our booth at all?
So we unveiled a new booth design. We'll post some pictures of it.
So shiny.
It's a little more professional looking than our old $20 shelves,
Our shelves and
shelving
tables.
units, and card tables.
Yeah.
It's a little more professional. We had glass cases and some lights and stuff.
Big logo.
Big
in the
logo.
top center.
I think Mega 64 was a little disappointed.
Yeah. They asked if for Comic-Con, because we have half the booth size, if they could borrow the other half of that set and just like Sharpie Mega 64 onto the top of it.
Yeah, that's
He's
not going to
gonna
happen.
no, not at all. Anyway,
You guys had like red shag carpet too, right?
Yeah, we had some.
We had padding
carpet.
under there, too.
Yeah, I splurged and I spent a little extra and I got padding.
That was nice. I felt the difference.
yeah, because there wasn't like when we were doing signings and stuff. There's no place to sit. Like typically, there's like a table you can kind of sit at, but now the new booth it doesn't really work like that. So
Yeah, the
bit
shelves
higher
are a little
up.
high.
you pretty much had to be standing. If you were sitting down, you were in the fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Gavin identified a condition now that I'm going to call it this from now on, which is called con legs, where your legs just get sore from hip down, essentially.
Yeah.
Every joint is sore all the way
because
through.
you're doing so much leaning down, standing up, moving to the side,
On
going
Sun-
up again.
On Sunday night after the event, we packed up and I sat down for a bit. And then I tried to stand up and walk, and my legs were just like rubber bands. I was like, whoa, what happened? I'm like, holy shit, I can't walk.
You're walking like a baby deer.
Yeah.
You know what's
exactly
even
what it
worse
was like.
than that? I worked the con all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then Saturday night from about 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., I was in heels There's nothing worse than working 2 days straight at a con and then putting on heels.
Why'd you do it?
I had to for our party.
You didn't have to. You chose to.
Well, I'm not going to wear sneakers and a dress. It looks awkward.
So you.
I do
All
all
the
the
girls
time.
out there know what I'm talking about.
All 3 of you.
Yeah.
3 of you.
Holler.
We'll probably have an update too on the site with a bunch of PAX pictures, right? We'll see the booth and stuff.
Hopefully.
On the site.
We've got to collect all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll come.
I shot some video at the party. Not much, but I was busy mingling and
I
drinking.
I think Carrie
Mingling.
shot a video on that last day of me in the booth that might be a potential for RT Live.
There was
my
a few
God.
that were shot that were awesome.
Bernie's got one. Bernie's got one that might be my favorite video Bernie's ever shot ever. I don't want to. I don't know if we want to talk about it.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
I don't think you've heard about my Sunday.
Yeah.
I haven't.
escapades.
You should hear this story.
I don't want to tell it on the podcast because I don't want to ruin it in case we do end up
It's a
using
really
it.
great video.
Do you want to hear a funny story about something that happened at my house while we were gone?
No.
So, I'm moving. On top of all this, I had to move houses. So I came back Sunday, moved, and now I'm actually getting on the road immediately and going to Seattle for another thing we're doing. So we're downsizing. We're going from a bigger house to a smaller house just because we just want less stuff. You know, we're going through like a...
I can support that.
Totally, yeah. Should have done it years ago. But so in my old house, I have a media room, which is just like where it has a screen on the wall and it has a projector and all this stuff. So I said, Brandon, I don't have any place to put this big screen, this projector in my new house. Do you guys want to take it and put it in the annex, which is Brandon and the live action guys are moving to the annex, a new space we rented next door because we've outgrown this space at the office. He says, sure. I said, you can also have the couch in there. He says, great. I said, the only thing is you have to go get it because I'm going to be out of town and I need you to move that stuff out of there so that I can come back and just work on everything else. He goes, okay.
Oh,
That
where's it
happened.
going?
My wife explained what it was like to have Chris and Brandon show up at our house and move a couch.
Downstairs.
Move a couch and just disconnect the projector from the post and just take it
He
away.
He chose Chris to come with him?
Here's what my wife said. My wife said that she went up there and they had the couch. They had the couch sideways up against the door, like sideways. Like
That's not true.
and she's like, you have to turn it end to end to get it through the door. And he's like, oh, okay.
No, you really think that happened?
Yes.
I
You
do.
really think
I
that
do.
happened? We had the couch completely sideways. There's like, how do we get this thing here?
No fit.
Then they couldn't get it out. They were ready to give up. She goes, well, why don't you take the legs off? And Brandon says, you can do that.
We already tried. We unscrewed them and they wouldn't come out.
So then she said she watches Chris try to unscrew the legs with a screwdriver, and she had to tell him on every leg other way to screw because he kept screwing right to loosen it. He's
Righty tighty, lefty
He's
loosey.
like cranking it hard. She goes, other way, other way.
We live in a digital world, Bernie.
So they finally get the legs.
That's what you pay us for.
They finally get the legs off this couch. They can't get it through the door. So my wife suggests, well, why don't we just take the door off the frame, and that way we can do it. And they say, okay. So they get the screwdriver to start unhooking the door
The
from the
hinges,
hinges.
uh-huh.
And my wife did the first one. Like she unhooked the hinge from the wall.
From the frame, of course.
From the frame. They start taking the hinges off the door, which will leave the hinges laying there as they try to jam the couch to the doorway. So my wife goes, no, don't do that. So they just undid both the hinges from the door and from the wall.
Oh,
and
my
that was in
God.
a pile. When I got home, that was in a pile somewhere.
So they didn't even put the door back on?
No,
Wow.
we offered, and Jordan said not
Why
to.
you offer? You just do it.
No, because they're moving other stuff out of there, so they might have want to kept the door out. Like they had other big crap.
Are there other big couches in there?
No, they had like big tables and stuff. So we asked and we offered, and she said no.
I know you're mad. I'm actually in trouble for telling a story because I said I have to tell the story of the podcast, and she said maybe you just have something for us, and I go no, it is very So then somehow in the process they punch a hole in the wall, which I
Really?
yeah. And then somehow that happens. Then they try to get the Then they try to get the projector down, and that has 2 screws, so they can't do that. So
we got the projector down.
yeah, but the post is there, and all the cables are all like frayed out and everything. And I guess Brandon, you felt bad for punching a hole in the wall, so he thought I'll take his speakers off the wall. He destroyed $1,400 for the speakers.
Wow.
What happened to them?
You know when something's screwed to the wall. When you unscrew the screws, it falls
Yes.
off the wall.
Yes.
So he let the speaker fall, and it busted the posts off the
Oh,
back where
my
the
God.
speaker wires go in.
Oh my god.
Because
That can be fixed.
So it was like, and then when it fell down the wall, it like scraped into
Oh, my
the
God.
gouges in the wall.
There
So
was a big scrape. This is factually true. This is the one part of the story that's 100% true.
That's the new homeowner's problem.
I came back, I'm like, what the fuck happened in this room? And she goes, what's wrong with those people you work with?
We got a 3-cushion couch out of the second floor of your house, downstairs, around corners,
which window
outside.
which window did you throw it out?
Yeah, seriously.
You only punched one hole in the wall.
That was my bad.
So enjoy your new couch and your projector
Well done.
that you guys will like. It turns out I don't have anywhere to put the speakers in the new house anyway, so it's all okay. I just thought it was a funny story. I came back, it was like every room was like cleaned out, and this one room was just like it looked like a tornado in it.
Felt
That's
really
awesome.
bad. But we took all the projector stuff out. We just didn't know how much to take. Like, do you want us to like go through the ceiling and take out the wire?
I just imagine Brandon in the room punching holes in the wall. I don't know what to take.
I'm so angry.
What am I doing?
I picture him punching holes in the wall looking for the cables. Not in this wall.
I bet if they didn't take the door off the hinges, they'd still be trapped in the room. Water.
Couch sideways. My ass, dude.
Oh my god.
Shit, go and lift that couch.
Okay.
You've seen Chris and I.
Yeah, it's true.
Really
That's what I was
small.
surprised about.
Yeah,
Chris would do.
same.
Like, we don't have houses. We don't have wives.
You have
we don't have to
furniture.
do this stuff.
There's always a reason why you don't know basic stuff.
It's basic, but basic is like, it's relative. It's basic to you
Basic
based
is
on your
like
experience. No, your definition of basic is relative to your experiences. So you think something
He
is
just came up
basic
with a shirt idea.
because you learned it based on your own experience.
But basic would be across all boards. That's why it's basic. It's like the base level of knowledge that all other knowledge is built on.
Yeah, but like everybody has a different definition of basic. That's what the problem we have right here. There's just like no uniform standard where
Basic-
everyone agrees. what
Basic is like relative,
means.
man.
Basic people
man.
define what basic information is relative to their own experiences.
there is a small baseline of information
Oh, there's a small baseline.
that you can know and
Yes.
apply to different scenarios.
This is
For
not one
instance-
of them.
For instance, I'm going to throw this out there.
Okay.
Gravity.
Yes.
When you unscrew something for the wall, it will go down the wall and smash.
You just like unscrew it and wait for it to fall. It was really heavy.
I love how high Brandon's voice gets when he's defending himself. It's so entertaining.
The speakers weren't even part of it. The speakers were just like a bonus. I feel bad about breaking the hole in the wall. Maybe he won't notice if I break all of his audio.
Maybe even it out by putting more holes.
Yeah.
Gouge
Oh,
more.
wait, those holes were there.
I tried really hard to come on Sunday to help fix it.
On the way out the door, Chris stabbed the dog.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
And moved. Stab.
Thanks, Bernie. So I do have to give a shout out though, because we've been going to cons for a very long time, and it is a lot of work. It's like a full 9-hour day. Man, the day that we had the party,
Yeah.
con started at 9.
Yeah.
Rolled from 9 to 6
We were there
p.m.
at like 8 or 7:30ish.
We were there at 7:30.
Yeah.
and then you guys were at 7:30. So 7:30 to 6 p.m. is when the exhibition hall closes. Our event started at 7, ran till 2 in the morning. So that was like 9:30 to 2. We were going that
That's
day.
tough.
Yeah.
And then
That's
back again the next morning.
7:30 to 2.
Yeah, we showed up. I think every morning of the event to set up and clean up at 7:30,
Yeah.
Man.
and then like I'd have to edit our reel, remove stuff that was sold
Sold
out.
out stuff.
But that's the thing I want to say. I want to give a shout out to the people who go early, and then B, stay after everyone goes home to break down that booth and palletize everything and ship it back. Because we do all that stuff ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not.
Who was that, Gus, that did that this time?
Barbara and Carrie and me.
Wow. Yeah.
Go team.
It's a lot of work.
You know, but
and
I
you get
think
delirious. But
the thing
it's-
about it is that, especially me and Carrie and you, we've done so many of these cons that it's like, it's
Yeah.
natural. At
You-
this
you know
point.
what you're
It's
doing.
natural, but it's still hard work, man. It's really hard.
we had some
It's fun,
trouble.
though.
We had some trouble finding a pallet this time. We almost had to give in. We almost gave up on it.
I see. I know what that means because I helped you break it down like a few times. But yeah, they have to go get a pallet of wood to stack everything on,
Yeah.
and those become like gold.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like if you
you
wait for
find
the
one.
normal process, you can wait 4 hours maybe, and you'll eventually get one, or you can be like active. You can actively seek one out, but it's very difficult. And we did it.
We did it.
we
Well,
got
they did it.
You're also in Boston, which is, if I'm
Oh,
guessing correctly, is a union town.
Big time.
So watch out.
Yeah, we had to be extra careful to avoid any broken arms.
Well, yeah, one time I moved a dolly in...
It was in Dallas.
It was in Dallas, yeah. And Texas is not known for unions, but a union guy came up to me and goes, "Hey, did you move my dolly?" I go, yeah, I just needed it for 1 second. He goes, "Cool. Hey, listen, if you touch my dolly again, I'm going to break your arm." And I went, haha. He goes, "Don't touch my dolly." Like, it's like,
shit.
yeah, those guys take their stuff very, very seriously.
Yeah.
He was dead serious.
I was there too. I peed myself a little. It was
But
pretty awful.
the people in Boston, though, working at the convention, they're all really great.
Yeah,
this year.
our enforcer who was in charge of our booth.
Yeah.
Like normally, I have trouble remembering people's names. I could not forget this guy's name. He came up as we were setting up, on Thursday night. He's like, "I want to introduce myself. I'm your enforcer. My name's John Adams."
No way.
And I go, "Your
Yeah.
name's John Adams." He goes,
From
yeah. And I
Boston?
go, "In Boston."
Boston.
I go, "Yeah."
Wow.
I was like, "Okay, I am not forgetting your name."
Yeah, ever.
So then they had like at the end of the event, they had a survey, and they were like, "Was your enforcer okay?" Yeah. They were like, "Would you use him again Would you like him again next year?" And I said, "No. Next year, I want Thomas Jefferson or George Washington. Like, if you can't get me one of those guys, I guess John Adams is okay."
They were all great, though. They helped manage our line, I think, Saturday, because Friday it was just out of control.
Yeah.
So we had, I think, 4 enforcers.
Yeah, we had four separate enforcers
Yeah,
watching.
apparently
the line.
we had the biggest booth size to line ratio of the entire con.
Booth size to line ratio.
Brag about it.
Like we
That's
had the
insane.
biggest line for the size of our booth.
Really?
basically. Yeah.
Nice.
So someone's Siri just activated.
It's coming
That was
for
weird.
you.
That was in my pocket.
The really weird thing is, look on Barbara's face, because Barbara's in our Siri video. Yeah. One of the victims.
I'm still scarred for life.
And I looked up and she's like, her eyes were wide.
She's listening.
I gotta run. So I gotta go do something.
All right, cool. Well, I think we're probably almost ready to wrap up here.
Oh, okay.
We have a special segment which will air after this in the podcast.
You were in the spoiler cast,
Yes.
Gus. Okay. I'm
All right,
glad.
I'm gonna leave before Bernie derails. Bye,
I'm
everybody.
not going to say
Alright,
spoilers here. I'm
Bye,
just going to spoilers here. I'm super glad that people like the spoiler cast. I don't want to hear about it anymore. People sending messages anymore about it. Like this guy that we talked about, the assassin.
Yeah, Kai Lang.
Kai Lang or whatever.
He's in all the books.
He's in all the books. I know it now. Listen, trust me, I know he's in all the books. I get that message about once an hour for like the last week and a half. I don't care anymore. Thank you. He's in the books. I know it. I'm aware of this fact. No one needs to send me the fact that Kai Lang was in the books.
It's always great when people
Reading
message
is
you.
for dorks.
It went
I'm done.
It went over really well, and hopefully we can do some more Mass Effect universe related stuff in the future.
Yeah, that was cool. It was fun.
We had a bit of an adventure yesterday. I don't know if you want to keep.
Let's save that for next podcast. I really wanted to get into it this week, but we don't have the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on a plane to get out of here, so
Yeah.
I had a great time at PAX.
PAX was awesome.
PAX-
Yeah, thank
awesome.
you, Gus, for organizing a good event. Thanks to
Yay.
Faith for organizing a great party. Barbara, thank you for everything you did at the party.
You're welcome.
That was a lot of fun, and we can no longer make fun of industry parties because we had one of those.
It was great.
Yeah.
We had one of those parties.
Great success. And thanks to everybody who came by the booth and our panel. We love meeting everyone.
And then before I forget, we have to mention that Joel and Marshall are in Australia attending the Supernova convention. I forget what cities they're in. I think they're in
Melbourne
Melbourne and Gold
Melbourne.
Coast.
Melbourne's first.
And they're booth 59, I believe.
Okay. So go, if you're in Melbourne, say hi to them this weekend. If you're
Melbourne.
in Gold Coast, say hi to them next weekend.
And we'll post about it this week too for any reminders for you.
Yeah. And stay tuned. We're going to have a couple of people on from BioWare to talk about the Old Republic and upcoming changes to the game.
I also want to say one more thing.
All right.
Everything we said about like Jessica Nigri getting booted from the con is that it's their con. They can do whatever the hell they want.
They can do whatever
Yes.
the fuck they want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want. We're just talking about it as a point of interest. But yeah, I mean, it's a private event. Penny Arcade guys run it. Fuck, they want to boot us. They can boot us. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, another
Yeah.
another plug.
So,
We released a new batch of shirts, and it's our first merch update for like 6 months. So if you haven't seen those, check them out. Knifel shirt, I think, is probably one of the coolest.
Knifeful shirt.
Yes,
Yeah.
Math with Maine.
okay. Well, thanks for listening and stay
Thank
tuned.
you.
Hey guys, we did this interview with BioWare before we knew that the 1.2 patch for Star Wars The Old Republic was actually being released this Thursday. So we talked a few times about it's coming out very, very soon, and we apologize that we did not know at the time of recording. But anyway, enjoy. Angry sounds.
That was Rockfist 208.
Rockfist?
RAWK.
Of course.
Which
Yeah.
Username is applicable.
might be the most appropriate username / theme song
Was he
intro
saying
ever.
Rooster Teeth or Drunk Tank?
Rooster
couldn't-
Teeth.
I couldn't tell.
could
It
tell.
sounded like both.
Rooster Tank!
It was like Rooster Tank!
So we got podcast number 161 here.
161.
We have Adam and Jack here from
Hello.
Rooster Teeth, and we're joined by two special guests. We have David from BioWare,
Hello.
making his second appearance.
Yes.
And Dallas from BioWare, making his first appearance.
My very
His
first.
premiere, his rookie.
I'm pretty excited.
I get a prize at 3
You guys are
episodes,
special.
right? You guys give me a
You have a
loyalty
punch card?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure we'll punch
Yeah,
that on the way
awesome.
out.
It's a
Good
loyalty
sandwich.
It's your loyalty card. So you guys work at BioWare here in Austin on the Old Republic, which is, for those people who don't know, a Star Wars MMO. Or an MMO
Star
set
Wars
in the
MMO.
Star Wars
It is,
universe.
it is, in fact, the Star Wars MMO.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. The Star Wars MMO.
That's right. None other exist at this point, right?
Well, I guess Clone Wars Adventures.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
So it's a Star Wars MMO.
Let's go back to where we were.
There's a legal definition where that's not technically an MMO.
True.
I think in some way, shape, or form.
Asterisk.
Okay.
Yes, asterisk.
So David, introduced himself last time he was here. Community manager.
I'm
Correct.
community coordinator.
Community coordinator.
Yeah.
Oops.
I don't want to take someone else's
that.
job away from them.
For the Old Republic. Dallas, what do you do with
I'm the
Old
director
Republic?
of production.
Director of production.
Wow.
That sounds really important.
I ask him for things and he says no.
Exactly. That's actually what I do a lot of. So I run all the producers and project managers.
Man.
And by run, I mean like bulls at Pamplona.
So like through the halls of BioWare, you just have like producers just
Exactly.
running through.
It's once a week. It's an event. People bet. People drink.
Nice.
And you watch all the producers run.
all the QA guys have like scarves tied around their neck.
Exactly. Being chased by the producers.
Waving their flags.
Have I not been invited to this?
Right.
That sounds awesome, actually.
So we have an internal podcast that we don't share, and it's that. It's just videos of that.
Oh man.
Y'all just started up a podcast yourselves, right?
We did.
With the Old
We
Republic?
launched a pilot episode just
Yeah.
to try it out and see what would happen. Seems like people really like it, so I think we'll keep making more.
Nice.
We will crush you.
We will.
I don't know. I think our goal right now is just like we got to get above Rooster Teeth on the listings, and then we're fine. NPR, forget about NPR, but like as long as we're above
gaming
Rooster Teeth.
was number one.
Yeah, except for, you have to be specific. Video games, number one.
Oh, video
Yeah.
games number
Gaming, not number one, because wait, don't tell me beats us.
And they call themselves a game because they're kind of like a talk show game.
Right. And they are like the number 2 podcast overall
Yeah.
in all of
Oh,
iTunes.
yeah.
It's like,
I'm a listener.
yeah,
It's,
yeah. I love the show, but I hate them at the same time. Because they're always above us. It's like mocking me. It's like, we could be number 1, except like one of the most popular podcasts in all of iTunes is in our fucking category.
You should talk to them and get a guest spot on their show. Like
sure.
you guys should be the special guest for the week, and then you'll just jump right over them.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm a big Paul Poundstone fan. Maybe I gotta talk to her.
The comedy stylings of Paula Poundstone. You have all of her discs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huge fan.
Jesus. She has discs. Oh man. I'm excited now. Let's talk about Paula Poundstone some more.
Please.
So we brought you guys on because here coming up pretty soon, the Old Republic's going to be launching its 1.2 patch, which should see some pretty significant changes and some new content.
Yeah.
So we were curious to hear about it.
It's like
I know-
this super mega content patch.
It's got
right?
super mega content. It's some pretty awesome stuff.
nice. Well, you guys had the 1.1 patch brought in the new Flashpoint, right?
Right, we had a new Flashpoint and a new operation in
Okay.
the 1.1, and then 1.2 has a Flashpoint, an operation, a war zone, a whole new daily quest area for the high end game. But then it also has some significant features. I think some of the stuff
Yeah.
that the community's really been
Dude,
jonesing
yeah.
for.
I mean, legacy and the UI customization. That's more than anything we're excited about. That.
Exactly. So those are both some pretty sick features to be added in. Honestly, the UI customization. Like, we knew it was going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets the huge
Yeah.
shout outs whenever we're like, oh yeah, and now here's a screen with like kind of like translucent blue and green and red stuff, and people go, wow!
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
were you were
the Beatles
Summit,
arrived.
Adam.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Like we were showing
Yes.
the trailer, and like everybody's clapping for Legacy and clapping for Guildbanks, and then UI customization comes up, and people like jump out of their seats, and they're like screaming.
Where was this? At Guild
for me-
Summit?
At the Guild Summit, yeah.
It's probably, I mean, at least for me, it's like one of those things that I want so badly, and it's like always there. It's every time I log in, it's like it's the stuck UI, and then every time I log into live, it's like, oh, I can move stuff, I can play with stuff, and then every time we have a raid night on live currently, it's like, oh, why are these bars still here? I want them at the bottom. It's like. That's the one thing that, like, Legacy and all that, it has moments where you can use it and where it's very useful, and it's, in a lot of ways, always useful, but you always see the UI.
Right.
Constantly, every second.
And we know, especially for the high end player, for the people who are rating, who are doing all that kind of stuff. Operating? Do we say operating?
Operating.
I say it, but it always sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds
Running
odd.
operations.
Running operations. Those are the folks who really, really are going to love this because you can do whatever
Very
you
much
want.
so.
Yeah,
You should trademark operating.
operating exactly. Well, what are you doing tonight? I'm operating with my friends in
Yeah.
SWTOR.
We make the team take a shot anytime they say rating.
Oh, really?
It's not our word.
No.
Oh man.
No.
We just do shots whenever. It's like, hey, do a shot. Okay, got it.
That's every time certain players in a Raid Force die.
Yeah, yeah.
Take a shot.
And I'm sure that makes the raid or the operation go much smoother.
Right, exactly.
Once doing shots.
Yeah.
At least much more enjoyable.
No, Adam and I were psyched, man. We finished progression last night. We did our 16-man Karaga speed run on Nightmare, and so
Yep.
we're pretty cool. Like our guild is so big that we have an 8-man Nightmare team and a 16-man Nightmare team, and so
And a couple other 8-man hard mode / nightmare teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
They kind of do their own thing there.
Yeah.
They don't
post to leaderboards or anything like that. But
Yeah.
How long does your speed run take?
We did it last night an hour and 34 minutes. And you have to do it under 2 hours to get, like, there are special titles you get if you do it under 2 hours in Nightmare.
So you crushed it.
We did pretty good last night. We
did.
like, the second boss is Jargon Sorno in Karaga's Palace, and those guys are bastards. Like, if you
Dude,
catch them
bastards is an understatement.
yeah, the first time we
You play
tried
a bounty hunter, at least you have armor.
That's true.
All right,
yeah.
I get 2-shot. Doesn't matter what happens to me.
You're a little bit squishy.
Yeah.
Bubbles, armor buffs, everything, and I still it's just like I just got hit for 23K.
No, I love my bounty hunter, but I love running a bounty hunter because I have very little responsibility because I don't have an interrupt or anything.
Right.
Yet. So I'm like, you can't blame me for missing stuff. Like, well, sorry, nope, no, I'm a merc. Nope, no interrupt to me. But then, like, Karaga's Palace, actually, Karaga at the end, you can cure bounty or mercs can cure. So like, you get that weird vortex thing that pops up, and so I can actually hit that, and I'm actually pretty good about that. So,
So you're actually useful. See, I've never been useful in any end game party. I always play the role that is he's just doing DPS, I guess. Have fun over there. Help out if you can. And,
yeah,
yeah.
you're the
As hard as you can.
Yeah, exactly. I can't be depended upon to.
You're like below the healers on aggro. You're
Exactly.
like way
Exactly.
You're like a spectator.
Right, I'm
face
cooking,
hers.
guys. Are you done yet? That's kind of
Yeah,
the way I
nice, nice.
Alt tab out.
I'm just live blogging. That's what I'm
Right.
doing here. So, what do you run? What characters do you run?
I run a Juggernaut. Is actually my end game character, and then I'm actually trying to level up a Jedi Knight right now.
Nice.
I'm getting very excited by the legacy and all the fun stuff that I'm going to get.
Man,
So, what do you think your favorite part of the new 1.2 patch is? Like one of the new features going in?
For me as a player, it's legacy because I'm a completionist. I'm a sociopathic completionist, and so I'm going to finish every single character progression, and therefore I'm going to get all my cool little race unlocks, all of my class unlocks, all of that stuff, and then sort of churn my legacy out to where I have every single unlock power across the board. But I know that's the way I play. I'm not, as I said, I'm not very good at endgame, so I like the new Warzone. The new Warzone is awesome, but yeah, I'm probably never going to do anything on Nightmare mode. I'm probably not going to hit the Novare Coast. So I'm all about that. I do a little bit of UI customization, and I guess I now need to actually maybe start paying attention to what my guild is doing now that the guild bank exists, because then I get free stuff. I mean, that's So
you've actually you've given us a lot of stress because of the guild bank. Like we've been talking now for about 2 weeks trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do with our guild bank. Because like I said,
really tough.
We have
put stuff in it,
because we have multiple raid teams, so it's like raid teams want their own guild tab, but it's but then I have to figure out how to work. Like, do we give special ranks for each kind of guild?
right.
Yeah, it's tricky.
You have to manage your permissions pretty carefully.
Yeah.
Manage
so.
permissions, and then on top of that, we have to manage rank. We have to each guild bank costs a different amount of money. So it's the first one gets the really cheap guild bank, but then a later team who maybe is 8-man has to pay more because if they want their own, they're now in tab 3. So it's just how do we manage that?
Well, obviously you get the first tab, and then who cares about the rest?
We'll take
I've
the
been trying to
600K.
convince Jack of this for 3 weeks, but
Is there any way I can instill a guild tax? That's what I want to know.
Actually, a bunch of people asked us for that.
Really?
So
You
it's
want
something
people
we were
to
talking
tithe?
about.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Sure. Every time you log in. Otherwise, we take your firstborn.
There you go. Very nice. Which with legacy you can do. Right? If they've actually tapped child, you're nice.
That would be a pretty cool mechanic. If every time you receive loot, 10% of it went to your guild, or if every time you sold something, I say it's cool.
some of the profits,
as someone who would be in charge of a guild, I think it's cool. I think as someone who would be in a guild, it's bastards.
You're one of those big government guys. I know.
Tax and spend, baby.
That's right.
every time I loot money, that's perfectly fine. Don't take my profits. That's my thing.
Well, it's also, they also have, there's guild repairs too. So it's kind of one of those things where it's but you have to have money in the guild bank to cover guild repairs. And we don't want, our progression raid team is going to be just destroying that guild bank if, we keep at it. So it's kind of it's a weird
understatement. I think collectively, our progression nights where we just for 4 hours just take wipe after wipe as we're learning a fight. I think our record's 450,000 credits.
Yeah.
Holy
per
shit.
character.
Just make everyone pay
while
an entrance
wiping.
fee.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
that was either Kraga or Soa on one night?
I think it was actually both. We had hit the point where we were 4 or 5 in both zones on Nightmare. So we were having to get used to Karaga, and we were having to get used to Soa, but Soa was still in the really weird flux phase where it was kind of still janky. So it was we'd get to the bottom and then it would bug out or something would happen and we'd be well, there's a repair bill.
Yep.
There's it was just constant repair bills all night long as we were learning.
And someone was actually accounting. Someone was actually sort of ticking.
I
guess you see the delta at the end of the night, right?
Yeah,
You see
I
how
know
much-
I paid 450,000 credits that night, and I'm a healer. I'm typically not one of the first to die.
Right.
So I know there are
Typically.
Just, I've had my moments, as everyone on the stream has seen. Where I know there are other people who have paid more, or who have died more than me, and who have
Right.
died less than me. So I'm probably in the the median. So yeah, some of our raid nights are really expensive.
Yeah. But it's fun, man. Like the first time we downed Soa on Nightmare, our first 16-man Nightmare takedown was just like so awesome. It was just like very, very exciting. And then when we did progression last night. That was awesome. Like being there from the beginning where it was like, we went from 16-man story mode all the way out to Nightmare speed runs is like, holy crap. Like and that's the past 3-4 months now at this point.
Yeah, we've been raiding for about 2.5 months.
Operating, I think you mean.
Operating.
Where's the shot?
Have you kept the same core team the whole time, or have you seen much change in the group?
Well, we've got some fluctuation. Actually, I was one of the original members, or I missed the first raid night, and then I joined
a little
in.
patch. It says like first 9 or something.
Yeah, and so then I joined, and then I actually dropped out because I was doing a lot of like traveling and stuff like that, and then I recently rejoined the main crew. So I went
just kick someone out.
No, Adam may have.
We've been through a bunch of some people just not being able to make it, and then us having to replace them, and then top grading some players.
Right.
Yeah. It's we run a tight ship with the progression raid force. We try to keep the best players on our force, and
me,
the people
and
who fly, and Jack.
But no, it's been pretty cool. It's like it's fun to be on like the wave, like, or the bleeding edge of operating. It's kind of like it's cool to see us all rolling around in our turbos and everything, and like taking over entire raid areas. Be like, what's up? Like sitting outside the teleporters, like 16 of us all in our giant mounts and
fire trucks.
Right, fire trucks.
How big is your overall guild?
I think we've got almost 400 at this point. It fluctuates.
Total, we're well above 400, but we have, as of yesterday, I pruned, and we were down to about 300 unique players.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our main guild is there's only one character per person.
Okay.
And then we have one kind of like sponsored alt guild, and then there's a couple other alt guilds that are just like friends and cliques who have made their own alt guilds.
Yeah. So we're the drunk tanks, then we have the drunk holding tanks, which is for the alts.
Right.
And then some others. It's funny, so we were Adam was one of the first people to get on the game because he pre-ordered as soon as he could. And so we were in one of the first servers.
I'm going to bring this up again.
And so our server is actually the one, it's a massive server. We're on Shadowlands, and we've got, it's us, the drunk tanks, and then we've got the Penny Arcade guilds on there. What's their guild title? It's
Remarkable Circumference.
Yeah, Remarkable Circumference. Then we've got the Reddit guilds are both on there. So it's Jedit, Sithit, and Jedit. And then we've got you got the Old Timers League, which is
Old-Timers Guild.
Old-Timers Guild. Those guys have been around forever.
Yep.
So it's like we have all these massive guilds.
Thousands.
So we've got it's a pretty damn big server. It's always fun.
Yeah, that's a serious server right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember, when the game first launched, we were on such a populated server that we had, worse queue times than other servers, and I'd sit there watching the counter and be like, fucking Adam, why'd you pick this one? But of course, all that went away.
It's not my fault.
Got
You guys are the ones who you guys
We
belong
assigned
here.
them.
And then apparently you, I guess certain, I think Jedit was originally assigned to our server, and then Sithit was like, well,
If you're going to be there, we'll join you.
Yeah, they moved to us, and then there was a couple other guilds that just joined our side, and it just got huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I know we're in the top 10 of the servers.
Oh, yeah?
In terms of population. I don't think we're as big as the Fat Man.
I think
Fat
Fat
Man
Man
is
rules.
very,
yeah.
very fat.
Well, that's
That's where my PvP characters are. So.
very appropriate name.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Body
man,
type 4.
But yeah, talking about Legacy again, you were talking about being a completionist. I also hate that because I kind of ignored my companions for the longest time. And now I'm like, oh crap. So I'm having to go to the auction house and pick up, all these level 5 companion gifts, and they're all crazy expensive. So son of a
That's
bitch.
how I've been playing the game for the last month. Has been log into PTS, been like, oh, I get cool stuff if I max out my companions, and then I log out, go to live, and be like, start maxing out my companions. And then once I'm done with that, I'm like, oh, I need to finish chapter 2 on some of my alts, and then I'll keep playing. So I've been doing legacy stuff without having legacy yet, and I'm like, I'm so ready for legacy.
You're lining everything up.
I've been lining everything up, so now I'm at that point where I'm running out of things to do. So it's just I want this patch. I want all my hard work to finally mean something, and where I get all my buffs and all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the same state because I had the insider information, so I knew the things that were
Yeah.
not unlocked
3 months ago.
So my progression with my Juggernaut, like I maxed out all but one of my companions just through my general gameplay. Like I wasn't even having to worry about.
Oh, wow.
Because I was just like, all right, well, you're close enough, and that the later companions actually get affection faster.
Yeah, yeah.
And where I guess it's the conversations they have are higher value and all
Yeah.
that. So I was doing a whole lot of companion swapping with that in mind. But now I'm like, when do I get my treat? When do I get my presence buff? So
I remember that happened to me. I was with Blizz, I think it was Blizz or Skadge or someone, like one of the later Bounty Hunter companions, and I did something, and it was like minus 700 affection. It was like, oh my god!
I
It was
heard
like-
that happens with Scourge if you're a Jedi Knight. There's
Yeah.
something you can do that he will
Minus
just...
700.
It was
he just,
something
like, lose all your
ridiculous.
affection.
Wow.
I was like, oh, you bastard!
Did you load from an earlier stage?
It's like F1, F2, F1, F2. But yeah,
I absolutely used the escape from conversation a couple
Oh,
times
yeah.
on those. We're like, whoa! I didn't want that to happen. Let's do that conversation.
yeah.
again.
Which it's to kind of ignore that one. But
Yeah, I think the legacy system is probably the feature I've been most excited about, and I'm really, really psyched to see it finally go live and get some perks.
I think the best and worst thing we did was we put that coming soon tab on Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like basically what we're launching in 1.2 is a giant piece of Legacy, but we also have 1.3, which is going to have more character specific unlocks where you can just purchase little upgrades just for that one character
And let
through
me tell
Legacy.
you-
And it's what?
No, continue.
Did you look on that tab?
Of course I have.
Yeah. So there's like a
I've
couple.
leaked half that stuff to Reddit. Of course.
There's a couple convenience things on there that are like, oh, I gain extra experience in war zones. But some of the ones I'm excited about, like, oh, I can summon a repair droid in an operation.
Shut up and take
dude.
all of my money.
Yeah. And so I'm
I
like,
cannot tell you how frustrating that is as a raid leader. Just be like, people need repairs.
yeah.
It's going to be a 5-minute break. We need to do another pull.
Yeah.
And especially when we're doing speed runs, where it's like every 5 minutes. I mean, that's a pull on a
Right,
boss.
right. Yep.
You know, so it's just like this is a waste. This is a waste of time. I want to just be able to walk in and be like, boom, everyone repair. You know, like the moment that gets released, I don't like. It could cost all of my money.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's just like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we haven't announced the prices for this yet. have
No,
we?
they don't
no,
have pricing
no.
on them yet.
Infinite is the price.
Like 100 credits?
Right.
Yeah,
Like 100 credits.
100 credits.
Maybe 50. We're thinking of 50 credits. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you guys had the Guild Summit not too long ago, and that went pretty well for you, right?
It did go really well. We were kind of, I mean, it was a very big experiment. We really wanted to bring the guilds in and talk to them a lot and get their feedback and kind of let them know. It was a big reveal of 1.2, but it was also very much like, here's what we're planning for 1.2, but we want to know what you think about all this stuff.
Right. Are we stupid or not?
Yeah, right. Like it was kind of like a check for us to be like, are we doing the right thing here? And I mean, everyone was really excited about a lot of the features, but we also got a lot of really important feedback. One of the things that we took really seriously was that a couple of the guilds were concerned about Legacy because Legacy encourages you to play both factions. But if you're in a guild, there's no
concerned. Are you talking about the one guy who stood up and was rather adamant
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, but there
he
were a
was
couple
upset.
guys who talked to me
Yeah, and it makes
afterwards.
sense, but it was just like that dude. I was like,
but
oh, man,
that was
he's about
something
to
that
throw down.
That was something that afterwards we
Shit just got real.
honestly took a step back and we said, you know, that is absolutely something we missed in building this thing, and we were very glad that everyone brought it up because now it's something that the team is taking back and going, okay, what are we going to do about this? We need to have support for guilds through Legacy, and so they're working on something right now that I can't talk about, but they
That was a nice preamble to nothing. That was
I know, right?
You can beep it out.
I'm really good at leading up to nothing.
Well done.
But the team really got a lot out of that, and so I'm really excited for someone to give me more money so I can do it again.
Right. Yeah, no, it really fell into the category of like a lot of what we were already planning was stuff that, you know, we obviously we pay attention to the forums, we pay attention to people sort of on Reddit and offside and all over the gamosphere. Can I say that? I think
Yeah.
I just did.
Cyberspace.
The cyberspaces. I hear about the interwebs. So we
gonna be a thing.
we like to think that we're actually paying attention and locked into what people actually want and need. And we were a lot of that was on target, but like the little nuggets that came through that were like misses. We're like, whoa, that's actually a really great idea, or that's something we overlooked, and we're trying to react to that as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
That's a really great idea for a community event. You know, instead of just broadcasting information, being there to receive it as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's really handy.
The original purpose of it was just to like basically sit there and be like, all right, guys, talk to us. But then as we got closer to the event, we realized that the timing would work out nicely, that we could actually talk to them about 1.2 and let them know about all the features, let them know. I mean, we did a lot of stuff in those presentations that were admissions of issues. Like it was very important to us to come out and say, like, Ilum is not working. Like, the PvP is not working. We're going to take a step back. We're going to fix it, and we'll relaunch it. But we want your feedback for that. And so we got to hear a lot of people coming up to us during the presentation and afterwards, explaining to us exactly what they didn't like about the current Illidan, what they'd love to see in a new version. And so it's very hard to go and say, like, this isn't working when you put so much time into it.
That takes balls as a company, too.
It's very, very hard to admit something's not working. And we were just like, look, we'll be straight up with you. It's not working, and that's okay. We're going to fix it. We're going to do something better.
So you said in 1.2 you can have a new like daily quest area for the end game.
Daily quest area on Corellia.
Corellia,
So is that going to be similar to Ilum?
It's going to be PvE, not PvP.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So I might actually show up for it. I'm not a PvPer at all, so like I avoid that like crazy. So any PvE stuff, I'll
I think
absolutely
the
jump
one
in.
Warzone you have on your character is one that I did while I was building.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You've got like Legacy, or you've got Valor 1, and that's me.
Yay.
Congrats.
Right. Operations. Let's go
Legacy.
operating.
Dude,
Absolutely.
there's legacy unlocks for Valor. You gotta go. You gotta do it.
Yep.
Man.
No, he can pay for them, right?
That's true. You can
You
pay
can just
for
buy
it
those.
Yeah.
if you're lazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm very lazy.
I know.
so.
It's just unlocks like /bitch slap, I think. There's a couple of those.
Well, I'm just excited. Like I'm an arms tech, and I like that's one thing. Like we've been running operations now since or since we could, and I don't think we've had a single arms tech drop. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to start getting some of this stuff.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah. I think
you know.
a lot of the end game crafting stuff that's coming in 1.2 is going to be pretty darn exciting to people as
Yeah,
well.
I forget who wrote the blog. Someone wrote a developer blog. I think Georg wrote
Probably
it
Georg
on
did,
our
yeah.
website. That's basically like breaks down every single crew skill and what we're doing to it in 1.2.
Nice.
There's just massive changes for each one to make sure each one has a specific role in the end
Yeah.
game. Because at the beginning it was like, oh, everybody's got to go with biochem, and now it's like, oh no, actually each one will give you exactly something different depending on what you need.
My only qualm with that is, as the one of the top guild biochems, it is so expensive right now. Everyone needs stems, and I'm like, I have to craft 1,000 of these things, and these mats are not cheap. They're not easy to get. They're not oh man, I can't.
First world problems.
Yes.
Exactly. We're going to be spreading the love.
Too
They'll point
popular.
to other people for those,
Just let me buy biometrics with my Columni commendations, please. Just let me do that. That's all I want to do.
You got too many sitting
Fleet
around.
commendations now
No? Oh yeah.
in 1.2.
Nice.
That sounds right. But
I don't know.
I know you can get endgame crafting materials through just buying them with fleet commendations. I've tested a couple of them.
Like the space comet missions?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Nice. Get people to do those more often. I guess you get some gold or not gold. You get some credits out of that too.
Yeah. It's really
The
good
dailies
money.
are-
actually.
dailies are
efficiency of
If you haven't been doing them, you should still definitely do
I think
them.
the last one I did, I made it to I think I had 2 seconds left, and I got blown up.
I fucking hate it when that happens. I think the same thing happened to me,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing these anymore. I just haven't been back.
But now have you geared yourself out though?
The power converter.
To an extent. I
Yeah,
did a little
that's
more.
really the difference.
Yeah, if you buy the ship upgrades,
end
oh,
game
man.
ones, like you have to get all the ship upgrades, and then some of them actually become a little bit too easy at that point to me, at least.
Yeah.
But that's
Very
because
much
I'm
so. 'Cause you're
awesome.
awesome,
I'm
yeah.
awesome at space games.
Yeah. See, I went through and I bought all the level 5 ship upgrades, like the ones you can purchase.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones I have. Like I don't have any other ones.
You
from,
don't have
like,
the
auction.
sixes, some
No.
of the because generally I think those are drops, and people
The sixes
you
are
can only
drops.
get them in auction
Yeah,
house.
and they're not even
Okay.
called sixes. They have their
They got
actual
special
own unique
names.
name. It's the
That's right.
Quellum charge phaser stuff.
Yeah.
It's something that crew skills can make them, I believe.
Oh, is that true?
Cybertech.
Yeah, Cybertech.
Ah.
Cybertech makes them all.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had some blue,
I'm arms tech.
I had some grade 2s for a while.
Wow.
Grade 2, yeah.
And you were
right.
still rocking it. 'cause
And I
that's
was
how good
rocking
you
it,
are.
yeah.
Man.
I don't need anything else.
So how often do you how often do you scan through the forums to look for information and when there's hot button issues and stuff like that? Like how often do you actually go through and try to address
I
stuff?
wait for David to tell
That's
me.
what we're here for. That's what the community team does. We write up reports and pull all the. I mean, we're on the forums.
Yeah, I know
24/7.
some of the design team actually sort of cruise themselves, but I think most of the rest of us tried to stay away until community tells us there's something to look at. Because honestly, I mean, reading the forums can bring you down. There is a
Both as a designer
significant
and as just a player.
yeah, exactly. There's a significant undercurrent
I'm done.
of hate, which is it's part of what the forums are for. It's a place where people can sort of vent their frustrations.
Yeah.
And those of us who've been making MMOs for a long time know that you may not want to go there every day if you want to actually eat your dinner tonight and feel good about it.
Not cry yourself to sleep.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. So I let
we're the
him
first
cry.
line of defense. We distill things down into legible formats.
Exactly.
And then,
home and
pass
drink.
it on to you guys.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite thing to do is to find a thread on the forum and go and just read through it to collect some feedback, and then suddenly it's Adam rage posted again.
Yeah, it is the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you were making MMOs for a while. Where were you before you worked here at the Old Republic?
I was at Sony Online for a long time.
Oh, nice.
So I worked a little bit. I don't even know if I can claim a credit. I worked a little bit on some of the EverQuest games, EverQuest Online Adventures. Then I was actually producer of Planet.
Stop banging on the table.
Oh, I was banging. Bam! How's that? Oh, that's nice. I can see it jump on the
EverQuest 2 before Star Wars: The Old Republic owned my life.
Oh yeah, you were EQ2.
There are parts of my life that were just that.
Like scene missing.
Whole chapters.
Years, sir.
So you worked at SOE. What else have you done? Like before then?
Before then,
Or what was your progression?
Yeah,
I guess?
my progression. Like I was at SOE for a long time. I was at SOE for almost 8 years. So
Was that here in Austin or in San Francisco?
It was actually
Or San Diego.
It was in San Diego, LA, and St. Louis. St. Louis is where we made PlanetSide.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I came here to Austin to work on a vaporware game, and then I moved over and I worked on Galaxies for a while.
Oh, cool.
Now, Gus, aren't you a fan of PlanetSide?
Yeah, I was going to say I loved PlanetSide.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of that game.
I really love PlanetSide. I'm really excited to see
PlanetSide
what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
I think my experience with PlanetSide was it was a fantastic game that had a terrible business model. It just didn't work, and so I always wish that we could have done it better.
Yeah, I try to describe to people some of my favorite memories in that game, and as I describe it, it must sound terribly boring. I was like, yeah, you could be this invisible class, and you'd sit and you'd wait for 45 minutes, and then you'd see a little shimmer, and you'd know there was another invisible person in the room. Then you'd wait another 45 minutes, and then you'd kill them with your knife.
Yeah.
They'd be like, so you waited for an hour and a half in a room doing nothing? I was like, no, I was doing something.
So I was watching. I was waiting for the shimmer.
I was
to
waiting for
appear.
him.
Yeah,
You just
no,
see Gus like on his computer, like with a can of soda or something, or beer.
Yeah.
And now we wait.
Yeah, with my eyes like propped open with toothpicks.
So what's your typical day like? Like what do you do at BioWare right now?
Oh boy. So we have these the various builds that are coming out. So we have the 1.2 build. We have the 1.3. We have future builds that are being in a planning stage. And a lot of my job is I'm sort of the head train conductor. So I need to make sure that every single one of those is on track. If there's a feature that is going to slip from one, that we sort of mitigate that and either get some resources on it to make it happen faster, or we decide actually it's better if we push it into the next thing. Make sure that we're actually going through all the bugs, all the feedback when we've been on the public test server for the 1.2 build. Making sure we're going through all of that, not just the bugs that are filed, but all of the actual feedback from people who are trying all the operations and such, and addressing those, getting those in as tasks. It's really like a lot of lists.
Wow, you must have
Is
a
it
crazy
sexy?
calendar or like some kind of crazy management system with shit just like sliding left and right.
It's
You used to have all
crazy.
that crazy stuff on the wall. It's gone now.
Well,
But you had all
that
this
was
crazy
that was
schedule
the stuff for launch.
Yeah.
So the drive down to launch, we had an entire. It's a wall the size of that wall, and it had probably 40 rows of the things that all needed to sync up in order for us to actually launch on time. The things that had dependencies on each other. So
Were they like color coordinated, like Post-its?
They were
and
in
stuff?
fact color
Yeah,
coordinated,
nice. Awesome.
and like there's actually a magnetic board with So I get really geeked out about that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my main function is making sure all that stuff is coordinated, and so that when we actually do launch something, that we know that it was actually done.
You also do a lot of the prioritization for bugs and stuff, right?
Yeah, so I mean the triage process.
Yeah.
So here are all the bugs that exist, and here are all the new ones that come in, and I'm part of the little group that says that needs to be fixed now. That can be fixed in a week. Like between our major publishers, we tend to do sort of like weekly bug fix builds, and so it's kind of a matter of we can only fix so many bugs in a time period, and make sure that we didn't break more things with the bug fixing. And so it's figuring out what are the highest value ones, the ones that actually the community is complaining about, that our customer service team is saying we're getting killed because of this particular bug, prioritizing those ones up, as well as the ones that the design team and the production team feel like that's bothered us for a while, let's get that done.
So when we're bug reporting like invisible lightning balls on SOA, you guys are like, we can push that a couple
Exactly,
more weeks. Whatever, screw that guild, they're fine.
Learn to play, noob.
Well, actually, James Olin, our game director, was talking about that specifically at PAX. And
Oh,
it was
yeah?
something like when the game launched, that bug was there. But when the game launched, that had a low priority because so few people were doing the operations.
Right, yeah.
And now that we're a couple months in, it gets bumped higher and higher onto the priority list because there are more and more people playing it to the point where it should be fixed.
Yeah, the more people it affects, the higher priority it is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's understandable though. I mean, like, you guys have millions of players, and it's like I don't know how many operations players you guys have, and then on top of that, how many are doing hard and nightmare modes, and it's
Where
like,
the lightning bolts actually matter.
where they actually
And there's also there's also a decision based on how risky a fix is. So have you guys actually looked at all of the patch notes that have been on the public test server?
I did.
So like we've fixed a metric ass ton of bugs for this build. Many of them were actually small ones that we knew about before launching, but they were either not deemed mission critical or they were actually dangerous.
Yeah.
And so we're in the last few weeks before we launch this gigantic, massive multiplayer game. Let's not do that because the effect, the bad effect is something looks funny on my UI, or my companion sometimes looks the wrong way. They're little tiny things, but they're annoying.
Yeah.
And so we have to do a lot of determining whether that's risky as hell, but the payoff is good. Let's do it. And when we have a longer cycle like the cycle for 1.2, we can say, let's do the risky ones up front, see if there are any knockoff effects. When we fix that, did we break something else?
Yeah.
We can actually test it for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the fact that your production schedule is so different because you do the voice acting. I mean, like there's so much that goes into that. I can only imagine how many hours of voice acting do you think you have stocked right now? Like, can you say that?
We have some number.
I mean, the writers.
I'm talking stuff that's not even out yet.
The writer / voice actor stuff is on a totally different cycle because they are so far in advance.
And
we
you
have
guys
to
have
write
released
that
some
stuff.
numbers, like 2 times the amount of voice acting work that was even in Dragon Age.
Oh, more than
which
that.
was
yeah.
it's more than that.
Yeah.
And
We got the Guinness World Record, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we've said something along the lines of actually it's certainly more than all BioWare games up to our game combined.
Jesus.
And it's something like a 5 to 10x multiplier on the next
on the closest,
on the next biggest one, which is probably Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a 5x Dragon Age, but maybe more like a 10x anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so it's a lot, and as you say, the lead time for that is actually pretty significant. So the scripts for 1.2, all of the stuff that happens in 1.2, those were actually written several months before we shipped.
Wow.
Yeah. So that stuff was actually off to get cast and voiced and all that.
So you guys are like voice recording 1.7 right now or something.
Yeah, we're ahead of the game. We're not as ahead as I'd like to be, but we're ahead. We're ahead in terms of the stuff that we know. The kind of the larger pieces that have significant amount of story to them.
That's cool. Well, if you guys ever need any voice actors,
say-
I know a few here in Austin, Texas.
I know a couple.
You guys know Elijah Wood, I hear.
I even have my own microphone.
I see that. You have your own
Look
equipment.
at all this
built
stuff.
Apple.
This is all like
Yeah,
this
we
is
have
soundy
cables
stuff.
and knobs. Look at that.
right.
It's
Audio
fancy.
stuff.
You just
But,
slide us files.
I see
so
levels
that,
bouncing over
yeah,
there.
there you go.
That seems legit.
When I got this mixer, I poured over the manual to make sure every setting was right, and I've subsequently forgot how it's all supposed to be
any of
set up.
them do, yeah.
So I have a picture of
I was
the
about to say,
board.
yeah, just
It's like, and I compare it. It's like, is it the same? Yes. Okay, we're good. Is it
right,
wrong?
fine.
No, this is how it needs to be. I don't know what the buttons do though.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
But I'm
If
still
it
voice.
breaks, you can let me know.
Oh yeah, you know some audio stuff, right?
I took some classes for sound engineering.
Nice.
That was actually one of the routes I was going to go before I decided to do server engineering instead.
Before you decided you hated people.
Yeah. Well, more specifically, I hate some bandy people. They can be really irritating.
Yeah, I managed to fry a soundboard forever ago, so that's good. But
Nice.
If the green lights are bouncing, then it's
That's
right.
typically
right?
good.
yeah, all the cables.
You just
plug
don't
in.
want the red ones.
I can see my voicey thing on the wave thingy there.
Right?
So that-
My voicey thing on the wave thing.
Slow down. You're using technical terms.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a technical
Yeah.
here. This is a
Brace
gaming
yourselves.
podcast.
Man, so I mean, so do you still play the game for fun, or are you at the point now where you're still like?
I do. I don't play as much as I'd like to because I made the mistake of telling my wife that I'd gotten my level 50 character. I was like, all right, I'm maxed out, and now I'm just doing endgame. She's like, oh, well, then you don't need to play anymore. And I was like, well, yeah. So now it's more catch as catch can. I burned through that first one in under a month. I was playing fast to get to endgame, and then since then I've been playing very slowly with my alt.
Yeah, I play. I played a lot. I've played a lot of Old Republic, and I don't remember how long it was. It might have been like 2 months after launch.
Yeah.
One day, my wife was like, "Wow, you're still playing that game? You haven't finished it yet?" I was like, "Actually, that's when she realized like it's an MMO." She was like, "Oh no."
She knows about you as well, right?
Yeah. She was like, "Oh, okay." Like this look of disgust and contempt on her face was priceless.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous now about rolling a new character, but I need the legacy level, so I'm like, okay, what do I want to roll?
Have you only played Bounty Hunter so far?
Only Bounty Hunter?
Oh man, many
stories. I did Trooper one time because you guys, when we had you on the first podcast, we weren't allowed to talk about the Empire side.
Oh yeah,
and so I was like, God damn! So we had to roll Empire. All right, we had to roll Alliance, and then
Yeah, so
Just say Alliance.
Republic.
It's
Can
actually
someone beep that out?
because of that podcast. Like during the beta, I had only played Force using classes, but because of that podcast, I decided to try Smuggler on the Republic side, and then that's why, at launch, I played Operative. I was like, "Oh my god, the Smuggler's so much fucking fun!"
And the agent
And their
story,
story
is
is fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah. During all the beta, I played through the Smuggler, I played through the Agent, and I played through the Inquisitor as well. And yeah, Agent is by far my favorite story.
Yeah, it was
Agent, it blows your brain away.
I'm like halfway through right now.
There are
Don't
certain
spoil
moments
it.
in the Inquisitor story that I really loved. Just like, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there are moments when things happen.
The thing
and
with
you're
that
just
guy
like-
and the stuff. I love that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
it's just like, yes, it's happening.
Once again.
and then the animation and everything that goes involved. When you see everything happen, it's absolutely fantastic. So there are moments in the Inquisitor storyline that outshined all of them.
Yeah.
But overall, as a story, the Operative was
Yeah.
definitely my favorite.
Has anyone played Jedi Knight yet?
I have not.
I've been saving them up.
I'm
level 10?
I'm at level 30 with mine, so
'Cause
I'm about to finish Act 1.
So I got spoiled for me what happens at the end of that story,
Oh.
and I'm just like, that is the story I need to go through. Like, that's going to be the epic story that I'm waiting for.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I made the mistake after I hit 50 in Operative. I decided to roll an alt, and I started playing an Assassin. And I was like, wait a minute, why did I just play 2 sneaking classes back to back? So maybe I'll do a Jedi Knight.
So what's your legacy name? Or if I don't know if you want to release that or not. but-
I won't tell you what server I'm on.
Okay.
My legacy name is Aventinus.
Ooh.
And it was because it was the beer I was drinking when I got my legacy.
You were like,
I was like, this is a good beer,
Yeah.
and there you go.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. David, you have one?
I don't have it on my agent yet because I haven't finished Act 1. I basically play a bunch of different characters on a bunch of different servers, which
Okay.
means I've got multiple legacies or not because I have so many different
yeah,
characters.
you're going to be boned in Legacy.
Yeah, so I have no idea what name is going to be available.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go for Nahasapima Pedalon.
Nice.
I think that'll work. That fits in the character.
I think it
limit,
totally
right?
does. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope there's not a character limit on your Legacy name.
Yeah, I'm the sauce legacy.
Sauce.
So because my character is enchilada, so I have enchilada sauce.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So
So-
mine is beers. So my character names are all beers. Than the Aventinus legacy.
Nice.
I'm shocked you're able to get sauce.
Dude, me too. When I tried it, I was like, wow, I can't believe I actually pulled that off.
And I was going to say,
And you were in pretty late too.
yeah, I hit my 50, I guess, about a month in or so. It took a little while. Like, Adam, you got it. How many days did it take you to hit
You were
50?
you were right at the beginning.
You
were 50 before launch, right?
I was 53 hours after launch.
Yeah. No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
3 hours. Oh, 3 hours.
Yeah.
after
So
launch.
a week after because you were in the first day of
I was first day of
pre-
Head Start,
Right.
and then the official launch of the
right.
game, I was 49.
That's right, 'cause you
And
were
me and
at
my
my
friends were
midnight-
like, we didn't make it, and then we were just like, we got to get, and I think I was like server second or third or something.
you didn't
like
come
that.
to our midnight launch party.
No, I did not.
That's right.
It was one of those things that was like, well, servers aren't shutting down.
Birdie came, and I was like, "Where's Adam?" And he's like, "Oh, he's home
Dude,
playing."
I live in super far north Austin, and you guys decided to have it way down here.
You work here.
For some
You work down
Yeah, we
here.
just worked out here at midnight.
I figured you were just camped down in the office.
No, he didn't come into work at all that week. Like if I needed Adam, I would have to log into Republic on my computer at work and ask him, "Hey, are you there?" I'd send him in-game mail.
That's a good IT guy
was-
right there.
Yeah, so I was among the fastest on our server, and probably overall.
I'd say that's
Definitely
that's
the-
pretty fast. There were only a couple people who were there in the first week.
Yeah.
So you guys track all the stats, right? I mean,
yeah.
You have ability to track that. Are you ever going to release that kind of stuff? Like,
You would know that.
We
if you
released
went
a
to
little bit of
Guild
it.
Summit.
We talked about
Yeah.
some of it,
Yeah.
about the speed that people were going. I mean, it's one of the things we actually talk about is that the number of hours it takes people to get there is actually exactly where we expected it to be. The
Nice.
thing
And
that-
I
Yeah,
saw the
you
curve.
saw our leveling
Dude,
curve.
That graphic was
It is
awesome.
perfect.
That
Like,
was the smoothest leveling
Yep.
curve I've ever seen.
the
in
problem.
any MMO ever.
The problem is that people are playing too much.
people play too much.
Yeah.
It's like it's such a
Oh,
silly
what-
thing.
what
to
an awful
complain about.
problem.
Exactly, but it's the number of hours is good. The number of days is significantly shorter because unlike every other MMO that I've either worked on or that I know people and have gotten the data from them, people play almost twice as much.
I think the number we have is that people are averaging 5 hours per day.
5 hours per
Guild
day,
Summit
which
was
like
like-
for the hardcore players that makes sense, but this is the average.
Yeah.
The thing that drives me crazy with that is that means that there's someone out there playing for like 16 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
Because this is an average.
Right.
And that's you.
Exactly.
Between like I stay logged in here at the office most of the day, running crew skills and all that kind of stuff, and then at launch,
You're screwing our average.
yeah, it's my fault. At launch, me and a couple of my friends, we used to play. We play MMOs kind of exclusively, and that's kind of it's our type of game. It's like what we like playing. So at launch, it was like me and 3 of my friends were all like, we're taking a week off. We're gonna stay at home, and it got to the point that we were playing about 19 hours a day, going to sleep for 5 hours.
Give or take.
Like, everyone would wake up at the same time, and we'd be like, all right, day 2, let's do this. Like, our goal was to be, the top players on the server, hit 50 first so we can start farming the gear, start pulling the content that no one else was able to pull yet. And,
he is not exaggerating.
No,
like
no,
I would go to
I'd
bed
play
and he'd be online.
Yeah.
And then I'd wake up the next day and he'd be online and be like, "Did you sleep?" And he'd be like, "Oh, for like 2 hours." Like, what?
Yeah, it was, it's...
Well, you did a slash played last night. How much? What were you
I
at?
don't want to talk about it.
I'll say I was
on
like,
my main character too. Like I
Yeah.
have 4 50s.
Jesus.
So like that main character is not even close to what.
And
my
you also,
actual play
am I
is.
correct that you stayed up all one night last week just to finish Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, I said last week's podcast. I have a bad tendency of making stupid decisions for video games. Last week I ended up. I thought I was way further in the game than I was.
So you just thought,
You were just like right at the beginning.
Yeah. I based it on hours instead of where I was in the story, and I was confused my first 12 hours of gameplay. So that pretty much was all just waste in terms of storyline. So I ended up having to play through, and I beat it in a total of 25 hours, but a good 7 of those were Monday night, starting at 11 p.m. I thought it was an hour and a half out, and I was not
And you
even
were not- oh, boy.
remotely
Oh,
close.
geez.
So I beat it at 5 a.m. Tuesday morning.
you had only
and
done-
then, drank a coffee and walked
going into
the
work,
office and was
everybody.
all right, I've got an hour and a half of caffeine buzz. I'm going to do the podcast, and everything else that day might just be kind of iffy.
I knew something was wrong because Adam walked in that morning with a Starbucks cup in his hand, and he never drinks anything like that. I was like, "Are you okay?"
who is this person?
But you were, from what I heard on the podcast, you were on Tachanka, right? You were just on
I
Tachanka
had
when
just
you thought you were
finished
finished.
Tachanka.
That's the second main mission in the game.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh yeah, I'm probably almost done.
Well, no, the thing is, it was the second main mission, but I made the mistake, and I said this last week. I made the mistake of they kind of changed the way that the mission system worked. There used to be a priority tab, and now there's just priority missions.
Right.
And I missed that. So I was just going down the top of the list.
everything.
I'm doing
yeah.
some quests. I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here, and I missed that. So my first 18 hours of gameplay.
You were just doing open world quests.
My first thing was the DLC. Didn't even know that I did that, and ended up getting the stuff from the DLC. And
No spoilers.
Yeah, no, I can't talk this week. So yeah, it just the whole Mass Effect 3 thing messed up. Anyway,
I still cannot let my galactic readiness go below 100%.
Me too.
I'm still doing the
I know.
data pad, and
It's driving me nuts.
And playing
I'm I
multiplayer.
finished the game. I finished it perfectly, and I'm still I'm checking on. You have the iPhone app that lets you
Yeah.
keep it up. So I'm on the iPhone app, and I keep the readiness going.
I've already bought all the upgrades, so it's
Yeah, I'm
it's ridiculously easy. But it's got to be at 100%.
I've got some
Otherwise,
serious
I go nuts.
issues.
Nerds.
I don't know why I'm doing it. It's and I can't bring myself to delete it. I can't bring myself to stop.
Is this an OCD support group? Is that what's going on right now? Because that's what it sounds like. It's going around.
You stumbled
What do you
into
got?
this.
What do you got
Oh,
here?
man.
You were saying you're a completionist.
I am. No, that's why I said I started this thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have to finish. Honestly, it hurts me that I have not found every codex entry on every planet.
The thing is,
Jesus.
also,
It really hurts me.
The thing that I found out, which I think we fixed in 1.2, is that those codex numbers were wrong for how many there were.
Yeah.
And so it's driving me nuts because you're missing one on this planet. I'm like, where is that one? What am I missing? And it turns out, no, I had them all. It just the number was wrong. But I think they updated that at 1.2.
it's interesting that you're so much of a completionist, and I'm a completionist in some regard, but I'm a completionist in terms of content. I want to clear everything. I want to clear the hardest difficulty and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the codex things, and even as much as I play,
Yeah.
I don't care.
You don't care.
Not,
You don't
not even
notice that.
I
Yeah.
left that planet, and it's just not even an
dead
issue.
to you,
I
yeah.
don't give a crap. I'm not going back to that planet. If I get it on a different character, cool. But
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'm also kind of looking forward to because of Legacy is because I'm a completionist, but also I didn't want to blow the XP curve. I did all of the planetary content on my Juggernaut. I did very few flashpoints.
Oh, really?
Because to do them, like I would have been way ahead of my XP curve because I did all of even the group content on my planets as well as space games. So I was always actually ahead of where I needed to be in order to complete my my story. And so now with my second character, I'm now going to start doing all the flashpoints and maybe some of the world content I'll be leaving aside. So I'll be doing obviously my class content, but then sort of doing my XP by completionisting. I'm just coining all these words.
I'm completionisting.
We're operating. We're completionisting.
I am way more OCD than you are.
Yeah.
Because like I can't not run a flashpoint on a new character. I'm like, no. Satele said she needs me. I can't ditch it. It's like I need to be able to run this flashpoint because they need my help. And I have to do all the world missions. I have to do all the flashpoints.
Yeah, I think,
once.
I think on my Juggernaut, I did obviously Black Talon. Then I did Aethys and Hammer, and that's it.
Yeah.
In level up.
I did something similar where I skipped. I did
Directive 7. I
think I did like Black Talon and Aethys, and I skipped all the other ones. I was just doing planetary content, but I had a problem where since I was playing an operative, I decided just to stealth all the time, and I would sneak around enemies.
Oh, so you'd be low on XP then?
Yeah, so I was constantly like 3 levels below where I needed to be, and it was like, oh shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah, that happened to me with the Bounty Hunter, where I ended up on Tatooine, and I got to one of the actual class quests was fight a guy 1-on-1, and he just raffles
Oh, that's because
every
you
single
kept
time.
making bad decisions.
Yeah.
You'd walk into the office and be like, well, I was a level over that planet, so I just left it. And I'm like, you did what? And then like a week later, he's like, I can't beat any of the class quests. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, the problem
I can't imagine why.
Well, the thing is too, we'd have the guild there, so I'd just be like, "Hey, can someone help me with this?" And typically, someone would be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I'd have.
What are you talking?
Oh, well, okay. So I'd have like 3 people rolling through my class
server
quest.
shows up on your planet. I'm gonna help.
Yeah. So
Jack.
And then I'd be on my own and be like, "Oh God, what am I doing? What's going on?" But man, I love it. It's so much fun. Like, I mean, the storyline. I mean, I've only played the Bounty Hunter, and like that was such a cool story. And it's just like that's a lot of fun. And
I've only played Bounty Hunter through Act 1, so don't spoiler me.
No spoilers. We're pretty good
good
about spoilers on here, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And I mean, just like the operations, like everything about the game is so much fun. It's like it's really really cool. And I'm waiting for the guild ships though. When are those coming? Give me a guild ship that we can pilot around.
I'm hoping at some point, and I'm sure you guys are planning on going this route, but like guild perks, and I'm sure the guild ships are going to be a part of some kind of system.
We've said there are design docs for it.
Yeah,
have you seen them? Because I've seen them, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, one of the things I think we not only committed to, but we committed to publicly at the Guild Summit was that we understand that guilds are a huge part of the game. We have a dedicated team that is they're kind of going down the list of like these are the most wanted, most desired guild features, and so the guild bank was the oh my god we need it.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple more things in the pipe in terms of things that'll help with the management and sort of planning for guilds, and so.
But if there was some way we could do like guild battles, like have guild ships battle each other, and I could have like 300 guys on turrets like rolling up next to like the Penny Arcade guild ship, like how awesome would that be?
No comment.
Like I just want to like
you like the game for you is you sit at a turbo laser or just like shooting,
just like firing at they're looking for Gabe and Tycho, like where are they? But and then like me like enchilada sauce up there with this giant wheel piloting the ship. That'd be so awesome.
I like how you're piloting a ship through a 3-dimensional space.
Absolutely.
With the like, wheels.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, you're just flying it around like a bus. But yeah, no, I mean, like there's so many opportunities for the game that I'm just like, I can only imagine. I mean, I only have a limited imagination of what we could do, but like as far as what can actually happen, it's just like, oh my god, I'm super excited to see what's coming up next.
Yeah,
like,
we have again. We have a huge backlog of things we want to do, and then it gets into that prioritization we're talking about of working with James and Daniel as kind of the design leadership of the game, as well as then what can be done in what time frame to say all right, what's the thing that is going to be most impactful that players really want, or is just going to blow their minds and we push those things up. And so some of those things that you talk about, like we've talked about that kind of stuff, but it's
awesome.
It's like boy,
that's kind of pie in the sky stuff.
It's a big technical challenge, and is the bang for the buck going to actually be like how many people are actually going to participate in that, and so we have to balance stuff based on that.
Well, I'll tell you, if you do pull that off, we will be streaming that live every single time we go to battle. Like even if we'd have like individual like not X-wings, but like some sort of like ships that you could jump in and also have like almost like Battlefront style like combat. Like,
right.
Oh my god, like PvP space combat with guild ships. Okay, my
We've
mind's
said
running now. This
James
is
Olin said we have a secret space project.
He has said
that's
that.
all he says.
man. So
He likes to say that same phrase repeatedly.
Secret
Yes, he
space
does.
project.
Secret
Yeah.
space project.
Sounds Cold War-ish.
Yeah, could be.
But that, and also like one other thing that I wish we had, like especially like last night. There's no chance we're ever going to see like server first announcements or anything like that, is there? Like
They've talked
The-
about being very anti
The
that.
the
Yeah.
team is really against that competitive. I don't want to say against, but we don't want to push that competitive nature of the game because so much of the game is not at end game, which is very different from other MMOs.
Yeah, I
Like
guess.
there were so many people at launch who just kind of powered through everything at 'em just to get to 50 and missed out on what we think is some of the coolest content of any game ever.
I say now it makes sense to me why you played EverQuest 2, because EverQuest 2 was all about server first, right? It would like the whole if you were an achiever mechanic was like you actually hit
and
this,
that's
you know.
very much. I mean, I'm of those dumb little online things where you take the quiz.
The
and it's
Bartles 4.
30% killer, 5% achiever. Like I'm very much an achiever. And,
Yeah.
That's my thing. Is I like to know that when I played through this game, I was paving the way the whole time.
You were the best of the best,
I was,
kid.
yes, like that's what I go for, and and there's been a lot of that I've absolutely loved about Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's weird. I don't really need the server first mechanics. I like a lot of that stuff for guilds, like when your guild knows.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about it, advertising to the whole server unless it's like. I mean, there were a couple of events in EverQuest where like when something happened, then very bad things in the world started happening.
Did you kill the sleeper first?
The
we actually have a couple guys who work on the game who actually were part of that.
Man, I would love to meet them. No,
Yeah.
I was not. But I've heard plenty of stories of the sleeper, awaking and then terrorizing all of my friends for weeks.
I have no idea
We're
what
getting
talking
old school
about.
MMO nerd.
Was
on
I
right
born
now.
when that game came out?
You may have been born when that game came out.
Well, I mean, like even stuff like that, like you were talking about, like I know, like in World of Warcraft, there was some stuff where it's like if if a raid went down and you
No, we can call them operations now.
Oh, yeah. So if you're running operations in WoW, but no, it wasn't there like a dragon head that would pop up like
Yeah.
on a space,
And I loved that.
yeah, that kind of stuff. It's like someone down there.
I loved having the and this will probably won't happen until guild ships or something like that. But in EverQuest 2, there was, you could have a trophy room in your guild hall that showed all the heads of all the bosses you killed. And I loved that because it was just like you got to have a collection even as a guild.
Yeah.
Of everything you've downed and all your accomplishments, and I thought that stuff was really
Trophies
cool.
are a big deal, and it's I mean, without saying timelines and such, I'm just from as personally, I'm a huge proponent of giving people the ability to have the trophies, to have them visible to themselves, to their guild,
Yeah.
in some other way. I mean, we try to do it a little bit with titles, obviously. Some of it is your gear. People see you walk by and they're like, "Holy crap, where the hell?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, yeah."
or the mounts and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So some of that is publicly exposed, but I'm a huge fan of, again, also being a completionist. Like I want my trophy wall.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want the thing to show that I've
Very much
actually done all of this stuff. And
I want
can
all my
walk-
gold
You want
sticky stars,
the
damn it.
blank spaces for you to fill in.
Exactly.
You're
I need
"I
blank
need to do
spaces.
that."
I need a lot of blank spaces. Yeah.
It'd be cool if you walked in a Viking and like there was a news announcement or something like that. Like X guild downed, or like whatever. It's something. It'd be
It would just says Jack is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. If we
Scroll
could say that, enchilada sauce is boss, like something like that.
Oh my god.
Then Joel could pay them to change it.
Absolutely, you could pay him
You
$100.
have to drink all the beers on the fleet,
Yeah.
and then we'll get you a name plaque.
There we go. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. And so at 1.2, you guys haven't made any announcements about when it's coming out, but it's this
coming
month.
very,
It's
very, very
it's-
soon.
You guys
Okay.
have, the very, very, very soon TM.
Yes.
Super.
Yeah.
We don't say very, very, very soon very often.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very, very often.
Yeah. The fourth very that's the key one you guys need to be listening.
You guys
for.
were driving me crazy all weekend.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm very invested in 1.2. I'm really wanting this to drop.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so, like,
the
this
bottom
weekend,
line
I've
is-
been like, they're
yeah.
gonna announce it in PAX. So I've been like watching all the coverage, and then something will go up on the website, and then it'll be like, oh, it's that day. Oh, nope, never mind. So
We had
just
that-
said,
oh, yeah,
no.
the problem
and
on
then,
Friday.
and
That
then
was
you guys are
sweet.
soon. Actually, no, it's very soon, and very soon is different than soon. It's like I'm gonna kill all of you.
So for your booth at PAX, were the people there playing on 1.2 or
They were playing 1.2. Yeah, they were
They
just.
had the
I mean,
Warzone, right?
So in general, people could just walk up and play 1.2, just create a new character. We had a couple machines that had Legacy unlocked, so they could play around with that new system and create a new species class combo or play with the new heroic abilities. And then during the day, a couple times a day, we would do the new Warzone, Novare Coast. That was actually the first time I didn't get a chance because I was working on PAX East. I didn't get a chance to do all the playtests internally.
Yeah.
So the show was the first time I got to watch people playing it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. it's hard to explain it without showing it to people, because when you're like, oh, 3-point control, everybody's just like, oh, it's Alderaan, and you're like, no, it's very different from Alderaan.
It is, yeah.
And I was watching people playing, and I was like, whoa, this is way cooler than I thought it was. So I'm really excited about that.
So you guys had a good PAX though?
We had great PAX.
Yeah.
You had some nice stations with
We
those
were
Old
really-
Republic keyboards.
Yeah. That was the first time we got to show off the Razer peripherals, which were awesome. The keyboard, mouse, headset, mouse pad, by RazerZone.com.
You get a cut, I guess.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
That's RAZER.
No, we're friends with the Razer guys. We gave away some Razer stuff at our panel, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Before
But,
the Naked Guy got on stage. But anyway, that's a whole different podcast.
It was our first show post-launch, and we really weren't sure what was going to happen. So we kind of wanted to take it easy. And
There was a little bit of trepidation. We're like, because there's a lot of positive, but there's also a little bit of negative in again, did I say the interwebosphere earlier?
Cyberspaces.
Cyberspaceosphere.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think it was really, really positive. All of the
It really
feedback
was.
we got.
I swung by your booth a couple of times.
You came to hide a couple times, I saw.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I was doing my own like informal survey. Like if someone was playing, like if I saw they were between rounds, I'd walk up and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Hey, hi." And I'd be like, so, do you play the Old Republic at home? And most of the time they were like, "No, I'm just trying it out here. It looks awesome. I'm gonna go get it." So, and that was really shocking to me.
Yeah,
to
that's-
see how many
so-
new people you had that were introducing to the
That's
game.
really what we were hoping for, because last year, if you guys remember PAX East last year, we were showing off Terrell 5, a Flashpoint.
Oh, I
and
remember it last year.
the show floor would open, and 5 minutes later, our line would be 8 hours long. And it was just ridiculous. And we were like, okay, this year we're not going to have that. It's okay. Like, this isn't a problem, because people can play it at home. But it was nice, because we had a little community lounge where people could just come and sit down, and some people would sleep.
Nice.
Did you have sleepers there?
We had a couple sleepers, but like...
Did you roll them or did you let them sleep?
We'd let them sleep for like a minute or two, but then you walk up and you're just like, hey, excuse me. And before you even get the rest of the sentence out, they know. So they just like start packing up their stuff and like, yeah, sorry.
No, that's when you start piling stuff on them. Or you turn them into a fort or something like
We just
that.
put all the swag on top of it.
When you asked if you roll them, I thought you meant like steal their money.
That's what I meant.
Right? You just like jump in, check out what's in their wallet.
You just open up their swag bag and you start taking out like,
Right.
oh, you guys got some free codes from League of Legends.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, it was pretty cool because you guys had that little lounge area, but you also had like a stage too. So I saw you doing a Q&A as I was walking out. Like
We
right at
did
the very
Q&As
end.
every day. We did a presentation about Legacy, one about the UI. We got a nice crowd every time. They were really excited
Yeah,
to see all of
one
it.
day I was really tired and I just wanted to sit down and I went, I was like, oh, they have that lounge at Old Republic booth. So I went to go sit down and you were doing one of those presentations and it was fucking packed. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go find somewhere else to sit.
It was nice. We had a really good show. We gave out those baby Tauntaun codes, which everyone was really excited about.
Tauntaun Fawn.
The Tauntaun Fawn. Yeah, so it's the Taunfaun in game, but we didn't want to
the
call it.
Taunfaun.
We didn't want to call it a Taunfaun like at the show because people might not understand. So we were
Right.
like, it's a Tauntaun Fawn. It's a baby Tauntaun Fawn. It's a
baby Tauntaun. You get it?
pet.
It's a Tauntaun and it's cute.
Tauntaun Fon Fon.
Yeah, exactly. But those things went crazy. There was a little shady operation going on. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, I've heard there was a little
There's
black
a little-
market thing
yeah,
going
there
on.
were 5 kids who were like camping out our booth and just like grabbing people off the aisle, being like, "Hey, get me a code," and then they would just like grab as many codes as they get and sell them all on eBay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of those came by.
Oh, yeah?
Our booth. He had a stack of them. I was like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm selling them on eBay. And I was like, so with that profit, can I sell you a Red vs. Blue DVD?
Did he buy one?
No. Fucker.
How much are they selling for on eBay? I think I have a couple of.
They're going for $30 right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Holy
said at the
crap.
time he said he was selling them for 25.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're going for $30, but I think they'll go up in value as the year goes on. I mean, I'm trying to point out to people, like, yeah, you can buy one off eBay if you want, but you'll also have tons of chances this year to get one. So
Yeah.
you might want to hold off a little
So
bit.
sell them now is what you're saying. If you
Right,
have
right. If you have them, if
No,
you
I'm
have
saying
them.
wait till next year, and then you can sell them for $50.
Oh, I see. Yeah, hold
Yeah.
on. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Hold on
one
to
or the
them.
other, right? Either
Yeah,
you sell
yeah.
them right now, or you wait until they
Supply and demand, baby.
I know, right?
Wait for that supply to go down.
Exactly.
So are you guys going to do anything with the collector's edition like users at all? Like any more additional stuff? I know you guys
I
added something.
believe, yes.
Yeah, so the collector's edition store
Yeah.
is going to get some restock.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, that's one of the things that we've committed to, and I'm not sure actually what the pieces are that are
There is a baby Tauntaun in there that's different.
Oh, it's
from
a
the
different
PAX
one. That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, so
I think you emailed me. You're like, this shouldn't be here.
Well,
I'm like, no, it's okay.
No, it just because we talked about it the other day,
Yeah.
you're like, you can't get this in the game, and I was just like, My collector's edition store has it.
We have a couple different.
Someone
Tautons.
messed up.
We got a couple different ones hidden in
So
the
is that stuff coming in 1.2 as well?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think we've sort of committed to like any one of the major publishers. We're going to do a little bit of a refresh at the collector's edition store. Actually, I think the same at the security key store, because that's one of the things that like I'm about to turn into a public service announcement. Use the security key, guys. Seriously,
there's no
everyone
reason
who's
not
listening
to.
to this,
Don't
no
use it the
reason
way
not
Jack
to.
uses it,
Oh, God.
where he
Yeah.
doesn't actually register the code. He
Shut
thought
up.
he had it registered on his account, and
like-
So
So
you
he'd
felt
been
more secure
entering-
just because it's on your phone.
So
You're
he
like,
was
oh, I have
entering-
the app, so
No,
must be safe.
I set it up. It was set up on my phone, but for some reason it
was
didn't link
not
properly.
set up.
Because like I went through the whole process
Don't
on my
blame us.
phone to the
Don't
point
blame
where it
us.
showed up with numbers. But anyway,
so he would just be
Problem
typing random
exists
numbers.
between user and keyboard.
And
something
he,
like
he
that.
wondered why the security key vendor wasn't working for him.
yeah, I was like, why can I access it? But anyway, it's fixed now. And so no, I'm all about that. Especially running a guild. Running a guild of 400 people. It's
Yeah.
like it's important for me to be that.
Oh gosh, yeah. If you're,
Also-
if you're the guild leader, because then people could loot your bank.
Yeah,
The
and
bank has those options too. You can lock down the bank if you don't have a security key.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it's nice though that now you can actually make officers like require security keys.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
huge.
that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's a neat feature.
There's
to have.
no reason not to have one, especially because you can get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should wrap things up here. I know you guys are really busy. You've obviously got a patch to go work on. Get deployed.
Really soon.
Four.
Four. That was important. That was the fourth one.
All right.
Okay.
Really is different than very. too.
Slightly.
Well,
Like,
we
yeah.
really appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much. And I guess we'll be talking about PAX next week.
Don't forget to
on
punch
the
my
other
card
podcast.
before I leave.
Maybe. We'll
Yes.
see.
Yeah, one more, you get a free
punch card.
Slurpee.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Did you say Slurpee or Swirly?